We're live.
What
are they trying to do to me? What are they trying to do to me?
Why, God? Why?
Oh, that's what I was screaming a minute ago. And we're gonna tell our peoples about that in just a moment. Hello and welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis, now in HD. I'm host number 1, and we got host numero duo.
Steve, real name, no gimmicks. What's on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on?
I'm
man?
livid right now.
You're
You know the gif of the wrestler smashing the door after he leaves the ring?
No, that's not a wrestler. That's Rampage Jackson in the UFC Ultimate Fighter. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. That is what I feel like I could do right now. So, guys, I don't know if you know this, but the actual time this show is supposed to start is 10 p.m., believe it or not. Even though we've started at 11:30 sometimes, we are usually late. It is usually me who makes us really late. You sometimes make us kind of late, but when we're late, it is usually me, right? And so today, I had everything set up for Rumble. It takes forever to set up Rumble. I had everything set up.
Man. You were on time.
I was totally on time. We were gonna do this, and I messed up, and I accidentally put us to stream on YouTube on the wrong YouTube channel.
But in your defense, I did scream out before you hit it. I was like, "Don't do it. Just don't worry about it. We'll just go."
No, I know, but I just had to have it perfect. And as soon as I stopped the stream, I was like, "Damn, I have to fill out all that stuff again." So. I'm the asshole. Welcome to Fanboy Modeling School, Shaolin Iceboxer, Rogue Radio, everyone else who's staying anonymous in the chat. We love you. Welcome aboard. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Shout out to the 9 folks watching us over on Rumble. You will be playing a huge part in the fanboy experience in lieu of some topics we got tonight.
Well, we've got a boatload of topics, things to dive into.
I don't even think we have time for honorable mentions, but I'm going to bring up one honorable mention, man.
Okay.
To all you people that frequent big box retail stores as customers, I feel your pain. Maybe sometimes you walk into a place and you don't get the best service you deserve, right? And I apologize for that. Sometimes people who get paid minimum wage aren't the easiest to deal with in certain scenarios. You go to a Walmart, you go to a Kmart, they're not even open anymore. That's how bad their service used to be, right? Mm-hmm. But for all you pricks,
right? I love it when it turns in this direction. Keep going.
For all you pricks that come into retail stores and think us troglodytes who work there, management or not, right, that we're somehow beholden to you, other than in the realm of providing service for which we are paid, I want you to go suck what's left of your DNA out of your mother's vagina.
We're starting off like that, folks. We're starting off like that. Keep going. Let us have it, man. Be more honest. Be more open. That's what a podcast is for.
There is a culture that exists in America, right? America is a great country. Is it a perfect country? No. Is it a great country? Yes.
Is it the greatest country? Yes.
I mean, that's up for debate nowadays, right? Anyway,
I just had to get my 2 cents in there.
Now, here's the thing, right, man? There's this thing that exists now where people come into retail locations. Here's my experience, Mantis, right? When I go to a restaurant, I'm extremely nice. I like this one. Leave this one. I'm extremely nice to the staff, not just because I'm scared of them pulling a Tyler Durden on my, my cream soup, right? That's not it. But because I understand that by the time these people get to me, who knows what type of day they've had in their normal life and now leading into their work life. I don't want to make it harder. You mess up my order, I'm like, hey, my order's wrong. Can we just fix this? No worries. And I'm still tipping. I go to grocery stores. They don't bag my shit properly. As long as they don't give me no smoke, I won't give them no smoke back. You know what I'm saying? I get overcharged. I go back. I get it reversed. A lot of times I let a lot of shit slide. But to all you people who are truly entitled, especially you rubberneck tough guys that come into these places, one day you're going to try some minimum wage worker. And when he puts you, or she, or they, puts you down on your ass, I'll be there to laugh at you on the internet. That's the type of work day I had, bro. So here's to you, man. Fanboy Modeling School, 2 working men coming in every day to bring you the best content. Hopefully our channel, which is not monetized, will never make millions of dollars, build itself up against the odds to only have it demonetized. Is this deeper than free speech? The tragic tale of Fresh and Fit.
Which we're going to get into, but I have an honorable mention as well.
Oh, yes.
And Remix was correct. The squares were too small on that one. I guess I never noticed that I made those windows smaller. But here's what it is. Elon Musk's stupidest call yet. So I know a lot of people are like, what? I know a lot of you think Elon is just a total idiot who just throws up on himself horrible ideas left and right.
Right.
His stupidest idea that he blurted out the other day is someone was complaining about the block feature on Twitter. And he responds and he simply says, we're getting rid of the block feature. There will be no blocking on Twitter.
Ooh.
And people have been up in an uproar. Now, I can't tell if he's just trolling us or he's really planning on doing this. But imagine an app like Twitter where you can't block somebody. Now, I don't know if any of you use Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, but I guarantee that even the average user has at least 20 people blocked, if not more.
Yeah.
An avid user would have a ton of them, hundreds maybe.
Right.
How could you survive in a world, an apocalyptic war zone like that without a block button? What the hell is this man thinking?
Bro, my Facebook block is legendary. It is riddled with the corpses of exes. You like that? It is literally people I have cast out like the Balrog into the pits.
You out! You shall not pass.
It is. It really is, man. It really is. You know, I even have some close personal friends of ours in the block on Facebook. They don't know it, but they're blocked.
See, I just mute the person. I'm too polite a dude. I don't like the blocking. Here's what on Twitter, I block usually strangers. Because what it is Twitter's one of those apps that makes you look at people who aren't in your friends group.
Right.
So, like, and then they'll be like, yo, check out this abhorrent idea. I go, what the fuck is this doing on my feed? So I block them so I never have to see it again. But, like, in terms of, like, people I know, I don't kind of want to diss them that way. I feel that's a little too aggressive, so I'll just do the mute.
And yeah, and you know what, Mantis? You're probably going to get into heaven based off of that one.
I'm going to get stabbed in the back one day because of this. Because I keep people around in my corner who don't deserve it.
Bro, literally, like, at any rate, so I think this is not the best idea, but I understand if he's trying to be consistent, where it's like I'm forcing people to confront ideas and ideologies.
That's totally what it is. He's like saying you can't put yourself in a bubble. Yeah. Like, that's not what this app is about. And, you know, he's all about free speech and, like, you know, we're here to, like, have a debate. So, right. Yeah, he's trying to force people into the debate. Yeah, rather than you just stay in your own little bubble where you exist in a world where, like, only your politics exist.
And I'm okay with forcing people into those type of situations, right, man? Yeah, Mantis, you know me. You might know this about me. I'm a tad bit what the weak might call combative, right? And combative in the sense where it's like, no, you don't get to say some shit and it goes unchecked. Now, what you say and do in your personal space, that's your business, bro. I have no control over that little dome that you live in. But once that shit is in public consumption or you say it amongst a group of people, I am going to respond, right? And if you need to be checked, I'm going to be checked because I expect people to do that to me. I have no problem with people attempting to check me. Just know that, you know, it's chess, not checkers. Like,
yo,
if you check me,
this is a good segue to both the Fresh and Fit one and the Larry Elders one.
Oh,
but I know we got to start with Fresh and Fit. But no, you are right.
No, let's start with the Breakfast Club, right?
Okay, let's start.
Who named them license? Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy. Once upon a time, they had a dim-witted woman on there by the name of Angela Yee. I called her dim-witted. Right? She ain't biracial. Right? And here's the thing, right? They have been having more, you know, because campaign season, election season is coming around. They've been having more political pundits on there, and they've been.
And I gotta hand it to them. Over the years, they've been managing to get bigger names on, because back in the day, the idea of like a political person was just a dude from the hood who was just like talking shit, and now they actually have real guests. Let me put it like that.
Absolutely. And here's the thing about it, man. Recently, they had longtime conservative correspondent, conservative commentator, Larry Elder on there. Now, let me set the stage for you. Larry Elder is not Candace Owens, right? Candace Owens is good at what she does. This is Larry Elder's, right? This man has been doing this for decades.
And so let me quickly set the stage for everyone who doesn't know. Larry Elders is extremely erudite, meaning he's book smart. He remembers his facts. He remembers his statistics, and he can recite them to you at the drop of a hat.
Also, allow me to drop in there. You may not pick up on this. Larry Elder is also got the gift of gab, and he's got a level of street smarts. He's been engaging. He's been engaging with the community for years and espousing conservative beliefs, right? Erudite might not be the best way to describe him. He might be a Renaissance man in regards to this topic. Right? Like I think he might be at the height of it. He was on the Breakfast Club recently, Mantis, and Charlemagne the God and DJ.
Actually, do we have a clip?
Yes, I'll get you.
Yeah, I'll do the chat while you find some clip stuff. Shallon Iceboxer, in terms of your honorable mention, says there's a video of a Pizza Hut employee snapping on a rude Karen and throwing her to the ground. People aren't standing for this BS anymore. Now, I don't know what the reason he's throwing her to the ground is. That's a little extreme, but I do think that you have to in society have decorum, also for your servants. And so for those of you who How I Met Your Mother fans, the circle of screaming, the whole idea that you've had a long day, so you go to a place where people have to serve you and be mean to them, or you yell at them because they're the only people who are beneath you who you can yell at. And then they go do the same thing. That is not cool. I admit it's a phenomenon we engage in. We actually do, but it is absolutely not cool that you do that. Right. And I do like the idea that the Pizza Hut employees fighting or standing up for himself, but throwing her to the ground. I mean, was that really necessary? Trust me. We all want to pop off. Let's be real. We all want to pop off.
I would never throw a woman to the ground, but I would definitely say, ma'am, I can no longer engage in this conversation. I now need you at this point to get your husband, your father, your brother, or your adult son in here. Because someone's got to pay for your behavior, right? I'm taking it medieval. Fuck that. I'm going dynasty style. Someone's got to pay for the words that came out of your mouth, woman. And since you cannot pay this check, right? And I would not cash it from you. Bring me your males, or those that qualify themselves as males, and they will carry your debt into this physical altercation.
Yeah, my favorite. Yeah, I saw that. My favorite is in the office when someone's being rude to the customer service chick, and she's like, "I want to do what you're saying, but it's hard for me to understand you when you speak in that tone." Which of course only makes the customer flip out more.
Exactly, man.
Remix says Elon is living his mini dictator life, and I respect it. You know what? That's a good way of phrasing it. I think that's that's a very cool way of phrasing it. Yeah, he's living as a mini dictator life. Well, we all know we would do it, right? We'd all engage in that, right? And so, respect to you,
Elon.
Yes.
But not being able to block people can become problematic on a platform.
I honestly feel like Twitter he didn't think that one out. I think the more he thinks, he's going to realize that he needs to make,
Yeah, needs to make the change.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do such a drastic thing, right? So let's take a look at what's going on here. It's so funny. The picture that you had for the video was Joe Biden. And I was like, does this motherfucker have the right? But let's see what is going on here.
A wake-up call? No. It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother. I'm acutely aware, Charlemagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
He came in here and told you you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seems to me that should have been a wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently. How dare this guy come in here and insult insult you, a black man, and tell you got to think a certain kind of way. I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
I'm not gonna say that upset me, just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like
Well,
that. For the record, I'm not a
I'm saying that is ridiculous that he's saying he wasn't upset about that. I don't understand why everyone isn't upset about that.
So here's the context for the people who don't know. Maybe you've been living under a rock or you just don't follow this type of stuff. And I don't blame you for either one of those things. Once upon a time, when Joe Biden was running against Donald Trump during the elections, he was doing his media tour, and Charlemagne the God, to the surprise of many, booked an interview, a segment with Joe Biden. Yeah. And Joe Biden, in response to a question that Charlemagne had asked in regards to, black people and conservatism, blah, 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 blah. And he said, black people might be on the fence. I'm alluding to some, I'm paraphrasing here. Might be on the fence for voting for you. And then, Joe Biden famously responded, if you don't know if you're going to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Right. So.
Because the whitest man ever born gets to tell me if I'm black or not.
There you go. And here's the thing, right? So Charlemagne had just asked Larry Elders, that's the older gentleman there, have you ever experienced, and, cover your ears for the sensitive, have you ever had a nigga wake-up call? A nigga wake-up call, as defined by Charlemagne, is when a black person has ascended to a certain level of power and prestige and starts to feel themselves and then finds out that they are still black, according to the power structures that be. And Larry Elders has responded by saying, Charlemagne the God, I'm surprised that you didn't know you experiencing your inward wake up call, which is just a masterful response, Mantis. It really is. It really is. It's because how dare you not be consistent in your own functional definition of something? Like, yeah, you let that old man come up here and disrespect you to your face.
Yes. Yes. The plantation master told you how to vote, and you took that shit, man.
Yeah. In Charlemagne's defense, he did respond, I believe, in that moment. He did. So Larry Elders is not correct in that, but it wasn't that strong of a response. And then the days after that, he responded more, adamantly and things of that nature. And then obviously there's the famous moment of Charlemagne the God, again, not attacking Joe Biden, but critiquing Joe Biden publicly when he was interviewing Kamala Harris. Right. Mm-hmm. And he said, he asked Kamala who ran the country, Joe Biden or I forgot the guy's name, not a conservative Senate or someone.
Right. The dude who looks like a rooster because he's got a guy.
Yeah. So let it rock. My bad.
And Rebeck says, shit, I was upset. I was fucking livid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Democrat or Republican.
I didn't say you were.
I think both.
I don't know what you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation, but you are black. And to have a white guy come in here and tell you think a certain kind of way, otherwise you, quote, ain't black. Wow.
How should I have replied to him?
What I just now said, how dare you insult me and tell me I think as a human being, let alone as a black person? I don't tell you how to think, Joe Biden. How dare you come in here and tell me how I should think?
Come on, man.
So that's only a small section of the interview. Now,
yeah, I think he went for a full hour. I think he actually went for a full hour.
So there's a young woman that is a contributor on the Breakfast Club who I forget her name, but it's something Queen, right? And she began going back and forth with Larry Elders in regards to power structures, and she asked Larry Elders.
She's like, let's analyze the word systemic. Right. Yes. I felt like her arguments were just whack, and that's why I'm making fun of her right now. I was more interested in what he was doing with Charlemagne because they were talking about systemic racism and whether it exists. Now, let me ask you, brother, do you believe in systemic racism?
You're not gonna like my answer, and it's not a cop out, but I had this conversation with a close friend of mine who is Christian, and we were going back and forth, and then I had the conversation with someone who is not Christian, but is, I wouldn't even say he's Pan-African in his thought. He's just a person that is deeply rooted in his culture, right? Mm-hmm. Talking about Big Cat, my big brother. Right. And they both asked me the same question, do you believe in systemic racism? And I answered them both exactly the same, which is, as someone who espouses the Christian worldview, I do believe in systemic racism, but not the way that you're thinking of it. I think that there is a system of evil that exist in this world, and its very nature is to be divisive and destructive. So could there be a system that perpetrates acts of hatred as the Bible would define it, not racism, but acts of hatred against other people? Yes. I believe that same system is the same system that propagates evil throughout many things.
I actually love that answer. And I feel, yeah, it's a system of evil, and racism is just one of its tools.
Right.
That it can go through, causing you to hate your fellow man, causing you to lash out on your fellow man. Absolutely. Now, I would say that in terms of what I believe is actually systemic racism, I would say actually my real answer, and I know everyone hates this, that Mr. Moderate Mantis is going this way. I think sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't, and it depends on the system. Like, for instance, I don't think you could look at policing in America and say there is systemic racism in policing in America, because we'd have to analyze all 50 states,
right,
from Hawaii to Alaska and all over the place. And simply, there cannot be a monolith like that. I think in certain states there are, in certain police precincts there definitely are.
Right.
Right, but we can't say across the board there are. Or like in education, people are like, well, there's systemic racism in education. There are countless colleges who are looking to bring minorities in, so they're not systemically racist, right?
Right. No, so I would have to agree with that. I think oftentimes when people talk about systemic racism, what they mean to say is that these systems have exhibited racist tendencies in the past, or what I like to call is historical racism, right? So we start examining things like police behaviors and actions towards the African American community in America, right? If we were going to go look in Africa, in the continent of Africa, we'd be looking at things like apartheid. Yes. Have there been evil racist systems that have existed? Yes, 100%. Is it what the blue-haired liberal is talking about? No, it's not, right? Because racism is more insidious and more cunning than the thing that they describe most commonly, right? At its core, racism, I believe, that I've experienced in any system has always been one of two things. It's been very, very like, hey, man, you're one of the good ones, or I'm one of the good ones, so I get you, or it's just been outright blatant, right? Or it's been more subtle. But an entire system, which is, comprised of people, I can't judge everyone's heart in there. Now, have people been put in a situation where they might be enforcing policies that are destructive towards a certain community? 100%. But we also have to take into account there are people who have pushed back against these type of systems for years. And that's the one thing that never gets brought into this conversation, right? And then while we're talking about systems, I know there's a large conversation around whether or not can black people be racist, or sometimes if you want to broaden the conversation, can minorities be racist? And the response is that they do not have, and this is what the woman was saying on the Breakfast Club, they have not created these institutions, and nor do they have the power to impose racism. Now, in a not up episode,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm sorry, that's super rude what I'm doing right now. I'm sorry.
No, in the not up episode of a podcast I no longer participate in, I said, what structures would you qualify as systems where racism and power, all the things described usually on the left side of this argument, what would you qualify as that? And they were like, well, it's when you're able to impose, this person said, you're able to impose your will on something. I was like, all right, well, let me paint you a scenario. You may not be familiar with this. I asked this person, I'm like, hey, this is circumstantial, but it is a system nonetheless. I'm like, are you from the hood? And they replied that they weren't from the hood. Or
they weren't from the hood.
They from the hood, not from the hood. It's ambiguous.
They're really not. Okay, so I think I know what you're talking about, and I assume this person is not from the hood.
And I asked the question, I'm like, are you familiar with what people commonly refer to as ghetto Chinese foods that you would find in predominantly black communities or predominantly Latino communities? And they said that they were. All right, I'm like, are you aware of the fact that in some of these communities where these things exist, that there are drug dealers who hang out and frequent these places, and they impact the overall experience of the owners of this, right? Almost to the point of who can come in and eat, how long they occupy that space. Yeah. Some places have gone as far as removing the seats in there so they don't have to deal with it, but they frequent these places and they operate their illegal businesses outside of these places, and it impacts the people there.
And the
Now,
people
I
who
asked
run
them-
it, yeah, and they basically are told to shut the fuck up. The owners are told to shut the fuck up,
or else.
or else. And what else? What are they going to do?
Now, is that a system that is put in place, and is that racism?
Well, for starters, it's okay. So I will say it's definitely. Damn, okay, this is actually a tough one. So I would say, yes, it is racist. Oh damn! Because here's the whole thing. It is racist on its forefront because let's be honest. Not even just that example. We all know that these two groups are often not getting along.
Right.
And so there's racism on multiple levels across the board. Whether people are sticking each other up in the streets, beating each other up, whatever, there has always been racial tensions between these two groups. So it's not just the ghetto Chinese place that is affected. Now, however, I would also argue it might not be systemic racism because you know what? Let's say in an alternate dimension, a different ethnic group moved into the hood and opened up their type of food there.
Right.
They would still be the spot to use. You feel
But
me?
that
If
only
Indians
goes-
had an Indian spot, the drug dealers using that spot too.
So that only goes to further my point because it actually, let me revise. It wasn't actually in response to systemic racism. It was whether or not black people or brown people can be racist. Do they have the power to enforce racist views on them? And I'm saying yes. When we outnumber another group, we have that potential to do that. And that is a working example.
And this is what another thing I can't stand is that people think that power is just flat out power, right? And they're like, well, whites have all the power. Whites don't always have the power. And so how many times have we encountered this, know of it, whether it's a friend or an enemy or some story we've heard? So a white person decides to travel through the hood or a project,
right?
And they get themselves in trouble because they are outnumbered. What it is as they travel through that project or that bad neighborhood, their power level shrinks. They are no longer the powerful. They are the minority in that situation, and they are taken advantage of. And so power levels actually fluctuate, and there isn't any standard that to say that white people are always powerful anywhere in America is totally ridiculous.
It's 100% ridiculous, but here's the thing, man, and this is why I landed on the position I did land on. I believe in the inherent evil of man, right? So racism is not surprising to me. Right, bigotry is not surprising to me because I believe in the evil which dwells in the human heart. Right, which is why I started the show with talking about. I told you about an encounter I had today with what I believe to be a whitewashed Latino. Now, I'm not someone that uses terms like proximity to whiteness and all these things, but I do know when I'm encountering people who are whitewashed because I know them. I've been around these people before. They're the type of folks that have a certain type of behavior. And that's not to diminish white people. That has nothing to do with them. In fact, I would say it has less to do with white people than it has to do with these people's image of whiteness. You see what I did there? Right?
I do see what you did there. And I like it. Me like it.
Their image of whiteness and what whiteness is. So, but let's get back to Larry Elders and fucking Charlamagne the God. Here's the problem, right? We're talking about something, and I want to get you're someone that's done in combative sports, sparring, you've trained in martial arts your entire life. This is what happens when you put a very vigorous white belt, all right, up against a seasoned black belt and some shit. And I said the same thing about Abba and Preach versus Fresh and Fit. Here we have Abba and Preach. Here we have Abba and Preach, who are comedians. Their job is to roast and entertain. And here we have Fresh and Fit, who we're still unclear as into this day what their actual job is. Like what they served on YouTube. So Larry Elders has been, you don't think Larry Elders has encountered this topic before? And you got Charlamagne the God and fucking DJ Envy, right? like trying to combat Larry Elders on the topic of the N-word wake up moment.
Okay, so
Charlamagne walked into it.
I'm gonna say this, and this is horrible. This is horrible. What I'm gonna say, but a lot of people are gonna be pissed at this. But me and you come from Spoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
How often did we see wannabe streamers, or they are streamers, and they're like known for whatever, getting high streams, taking showers while they stream, whatever idiotic thing. And one day they decide to try to be more
cold
than
shot.
that. And they try to have like an intelligent stream. Maybe they try to interview someone. Maybe they try, and they are completely out of their depth.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, I feel like recently, in recent years, I feel like the Breakfast Club has become that. That, like, I'm like, you guys are out of your depth. You need to get your game up,
Right.
in order to interview these big timers.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it less nice, right? You stay in your wheelhouse, right? Right. Look, man, interviewing comes easily to me because I'm good at having conversations up until the point that someone says something and they expect me not to respond to it. Then I'm like, let me just stop you right there. Right?
Right.
I understand how social dynamics and social debates and stuff like that go. I agree with you 100%, bro. DJ Envy and Charlemagne the God are punching at one level. Larry Elders has been doing this for decades, and you do not. Ooh, I just caught it. You do not step into a ring like in the ring with a guy like
exactly. You've used a couple of metaphors or analogies. You're like a white belt versus a black belt or whatever, and but yes, exactly. If you are a rookie, you do not go after a G. It's that fucking simple, right? And so that's what it is. They're trying to spar with them, and at the end of that whole thing, what's her face tried to step in. Her name escaped me, and she did not hold it down. I actually have some of it. It's funny. I have a video from Anthony Brian Logan. He has some of their interviews. So let's check this out.
Shout out to the 17 people watching us over on Rumble.
We're
gonna get into why we want you to stick around.
What happened to Fresh and Fit, says Damon99 over on Rumble. Well, yeah, we're gonna get into that real quick. That's gonna be our next hit up. But right now, we're finishing up on this topic.
Totally ignore everything you said and just wants to lead with that question right there.
This is Anthony Brian
So
Logan.
let's see what the response is.
Real quick, backstory on him. His father and his uncle were big in the drug game back in the day when he was growing up. And because they lost their lives to that, he became, I guess, conservative or more Christian or more, just a more responsible man. He had the opposite effect. And so he is a black man from the hood who
married to a black woman. Important that you say that.
Yes, exactly. He's keeping it 100 right now, as opposed to a lot of these other motherfuckers. And so he's just trying to help the community, in my opinion. So,
what do you mean? What do white people do? I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe there's
No,
systemic
there
racism?
used to be, obviously. Tell me what you think the number one systemic example of systemic racism is in America.
Oh man, there's so many.
Just give me the most important one you think.
But at the top of mind, I probably maybe say mass incarceration. Maybe.
Really? During the Great Depression, when 50% of black adults were unemployed, you didn't have this kind of mass incarceration. It's the breakdown of the family. There's
I'm not going to. I agree with the family part. I'm a black man.
You could tell when Larry asked him that question about the issue that is on his mind, systemic racism. Give me one issue. He was having a hard time. He wasn't really going to be able to come up with anything. Exactly. He just made something up randomly.
That is funny that he's like, give me one, and he couldn't.
It's amazing because I catch so much slack for using that same argumentative tool, like that same tactic in a conversation. I'm like, well, just give me one example. Give me one example of the assertion you're making. And they're like, Google is your friend. I'm like, but I didn't make the assertion. You're making the assertion, and the proof of burden is on you.
I love how they're like, how dare you make me explain myself in a debate? All right.
Because that's a talking point that people can just say and they're normally never challenged. So then when he was challenged, he was kind of fishing.
who is the father to his children, and I'm
Right.
a happily married
Right.
black man to a black woman. So I'm never going to argue with that part,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I just feel like everything is black with you. Black is wrong. Black people do this and black people do that. And when I ask you what white people do wrong, you said you're not worried about white people at all.
I'm talking about the damage, disproportionate damage going on in the black community. For example, look at these smash and grabs that are taking place in Los Angeles, where I live. There's a suburb called Glendale, where at a mall recently, a mob of 30 to 40 people, they had masks on, but one guy got popped. He was black. And I think most of those who were doing this were black. If I were involved in something like that, Charlemagne, I would have been more afraid of my father than I would about the cops catching me. These kids are afraid of neither. They don't have a father in the home. Cops are demoralized. They're pulling back. The manpower is short.
This ain't nothing but the truth. And I might stop it a little bit here and there because I don't know how the Breakfast Club is with copyright, but this ain't
They're
nothing
very
but the
strict
truth.
with
You can tell there's some
copyright. We
editing
should do our
going
own
on, but
talking.
again, I will link to the full unedited.
Yeah, they're
mostly
violating
unedited
copyright
version of
all day
this.
long, so.
It's like an hour plus long. I will link to that in the box. So you
But yeah, there you go. That was an amazing like a whole back and forth. You guys should check it out whenever you get the opportunity. What do you know a website where the whole thing is? Is there a website?
So obviously you can go watch it on the Breakfast Club YouTube. But here's the important thing to remember about this conversation, right? Do I agree with Larry Elders 100%? No, I don't agree with any 100%, right?
Agreed.
But I agree with what he was presenting, right? I don't know entirely what Larry Elders' motivations are. He could be a conservative shill. I have to accept that that's a possibility. He could very well be screaming from the porch, hey, y'all motherfuckers in the field, behave. But does that mean that anything he's saying that is true is untrue, right? So when we talk about like systemic racism, I'm willing to have that conversation if we're going to incorporate one of the things that we can do to strengthen ourselves to combat against said systemic racism. That's to say this, Mantis, right? If my opponent is so powerful, so strong, does that mean I don't train for the fight?
That's it. You're like, hopefully he hits me once and I just pass out.
Right? Do I not prepare myself for the battle at hand? Right?
No,
Do
obviously.
I not strengthen myself? Do I not look to what bad tendencies I would bring into the fight? Maybe I hold my hands down too low. Right? Maybe I dip my head off when I know he's going to throw a head kick. Or does that mean I start looking at my own behaviors that could impact me in a harmful manner in said combat? Right? Why do I keep using so many combat?
Because you're
So
angry and you
combat
want to beat someone's ass, and it's totally understandable.
No, because
you told us earlier what this was about. You're angry about a certain customer
No.
pissed you off today.
No, listen, that light-eyed motherfucker could have got to work, but this has more to do with the fact of if systemic racism is as bad as being presented, and I'm to take you at face value, I have to believe that my solution has to be ready to stand up to what I'm dealing with, right? So that means I need to be strong. We need to be strong within the community to be able to combat these things. That's always been my point. You gotta be, if it's this strong, if it's this bad, then we need to shore up the weak points in our own community. And one of our weakest points is some of the things that Larry Elders is describing.
Yo, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And the idea where they're like, yo, you need to criticize other communities. You need to criticize the oppressor's community, blah, 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 blah. No, you need to get your own house in order is really what's going on. And so, it is. When he says one of the problems with the black community right now is the fatherless epidemic, that motherfucker isn't wrong. Numbers support him. You know what I'm saying? And like, so people were like, how dare you criticize your own thing? You should always be critical of your own house.
Right. You should make sure everything's in order. In regards also to Larry Elders and just on a comedic side of him coming up, right? I know there are various different forms of intelligence, right? And we sometimes put a high emphasis now on street smarts versus book smarts. Remember it was like the opposite way when we were growing up? Someone was book smart and that was held in a higher regard. It was like, but he ain't got no street smarts. And it was just like, if you just had this one thing, you'd be
and they
set.
looked at you, they're like, shut up, idiot. They're like, you're just pissed off you're illiterate.
But now it's flipped in a lot of conversations I have where there's a high emphasis on street smarts or being self-taught. When in actuality, like this man is trained for this bullshit.
Yeah, they have done studies on really good criminals, and they have found that they have incredibly high IQs. And what it is that the actual what you consider a standard IQ test has a bias toward education. Are you well read? Will you be able to identify words based on being well read? But however, you can still be super smart and live out in the hood, live out in the world. And what it is you're going to cultivate your intelligence to what it makes you better at surviving.
Right, 100%. But there's also going to come a moment where you might be asked to articulate a thought. Now, you can be extremely adept at survival and all the tactics it requires to be, to survive. You might be able to maneuver in a way where you can get by, but one day someone's going to say, can you explain that to me? And if you lack the ability to articulate it, then you should probably stay away from microphones and espousing certain views, right? If you can't defend the things coming out of your mouth, don't say them. Don't say them. And I mean, be prepared to defend them on the spot. Larry Elders, Candace Owens, Thomas Sowell, these are people who are prepared. And we're not just talking about a script and talking points. Like, they've thought through their position. No matter what you think of her, Candace Owens probably sits up at night dreading the moment that someone fucking catches her out there on a point that's weak. I think you need to be ready for that type of shit when you bring someone like Larry Elders on, man. You have to.
Absolutely agree. Back on the whole Chinese spot, RM says the Chinese food place a few blocks from me has decent food, but the people behind the counter are yelled at by locals all day long, and they are assholes to my son as a result. Oh man, not necessarily racism, but race and class influence how the employees and customers act. So I would argue, here's what I would, of course, obviously race and culture are definitely a thing, but I would also say it's economic. It's certainly an economic problem there.
Well, wait, I'm gonna jump out on a limb here, man, because I can only speak about my hood, but 100% I know that the brothers that hung out in front of the Chinese restaurant where I grew up did the things they did because they were Chinese, and they were like, you don't belong here out the gate. And it most certainly had to do with race. And they're like, we're gonna do what we want in our neighborhood. You just a guest here. How is that?
And they would insult their delivery men as they go in and out. That all that shit.
Physical assault.
Yeah, they do all sorts of crazy shit. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. But once again, this is just the Christian in me is feeling that this is just another case of the man or the devil trying to get us to fight each other. We're all poor. We should all get together.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why I said before. I believe in hateful systems propagated by the sinful and hateful hearts of men, right? And women. I don't want to let you women off.
Oh, you bitches are trouble. AJ says, I definitely don't enjoy a backpedaling when their words don't catch wind. Laugh out loud. What up, AJ? Welcome to the stream. We're talking about all sorts of shenanigans. We were just finishing up on the Larry Elders
thing. Who is
thing.
that? Rock that back? AJ.
AJ. It's AJ the Rebel, man.
AJ the Rebel, man. All right, welcome in, AJ.
Yeah. So I think it's time for us to talk about fit and it's not fit and fabulous
and fresh.
fresh, yeah, fresh and fit. Sorry guys, over on Hot 95, the station that I work at, we have a fit and fabulous. So I've been messing that up in my head the whole time.
And we're not actually allowed to talk about these things over on those stations. So
yeah, we can't talk about real politics. We can't get into the nitty and the gritty. So that's why I love having Fanboy here.
Yeah, being able to speak openly and honest. So fresh and fit, right? Myron used to be a federal agent, and Fit is a businessman of sort who was on a reality pitch show. So those
when
are
he says businessman, he sells like phone cards or something on the street.
Listen, those are their qualifications to give men advice on the internet, and they rose to prominence in 2021. Pre-vid era, right? And they got some bolstering from one Kevin Samuels, right? So let me take you through this, Mantis. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Actually, I'm not sure I'm aware of their origin, so please hit me up.
So when they had Kevin Samuels on their show, Kevin Samuels had already had his viral moment, the your average at best moment. And he was Kevin Samuels at this point, right? Millions of followers, thousands of people in his live chats. I think he would get something crazy like 15,000 to 30,000 people in his live chat. Now, whether they were all participating, I doubt it, because YouTube would most certainly crash if all those people were trying to communicate at the same time. But they had Kevin Samuels on, and this kind of brought them to the light because they only had maybe 10,000 subscribers, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on this. You can go check the Social Blade. So they had Kevin Samuels on, right? And Kevin Samuels came on to their show a couple of times, and then they had a falling out with Kevin Samuels because they actually, as a Spoon streamer, you're going to love this, they started streaming on his locked in night. Because if you didn't know this, the Manosphere, Black Manosphere, they kind of follow Spoon rules, where it's like, yo, Mantis streams on Mondays.
Oh, right. So they avoid each other, step on each other's toes.
Yeah, we're not going to step on each other's toes and shit.
I like that. I really like. I think that's cool.
They stepped right on his toes. So
they stepped on his toes.
They took the same time, and that was their falling out with Kevin Samuels. You can go check a channel called The Celebrity Junk, hosted by the OG O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out to him. He has reported on many times. Then, of course, there was the famous. I'm just going over all their treacherous behavior and their L's. Then there was the obvious, very public falling out between them and Abba and Preach. They had Abba and Preach onto their show.
I know about this
conversation has been sparked up about paying for coitus, and Abba and Preach responded to it, and they were like, we think you're capping on sending this stuff in an individual video. Fresh and Fit responded by then attacking Preach's wife and insinuating that he was some type of ape-like figure. But wait, it gets worse. Then a few months later, or a few months prior to that, a young woman who I actually tried to interview, not about this topic, but on Conversations That Matter, that's a health and wellness content creator on IG, exposed Myron for wanting to have her on the show, and he sent her a message, which is still publicly out there, insinuating or outright saying that, cool, you can come on the show, and, but I want you to know I only work with people I've had sex with.
This idiot was stupid enough to put it in writing.
He put it in writing, and he got exposed for that because he tried, not because he said it, because she's the type of content creator where she was gonna let it go. She's like, weird moment, okay, I'm not coming. Like, they had their back and forth, but I guess there was more, and then she kind of
get so much from exposing someone. Are you kidding me? I would love the fucking day for fucking Ben Shapiro to be like, yeah, you can be on the Daily Wire, but you got to tug me off. I would love for him to put that in writing. Please do that. I will blow that motherfucker up. Mad stories, man. Fucking shit. That would be content for months off of that one interaction. That would be freaking amazing.
Stream etiquette is what I call it, Bex.
I think you're right. It is stream etiquette. You're not wrong. Right. I don't know why she's dissing on that. But Bex says, wait, Kevin Samuels ushered them in? Yeah, he did.
He didn't usher them, but he helped get them up.
Right. Myron got teary-eyed because he loves harassing dumb women when more than being a wannabe cop. Says
so listen, Myron's just out here protecting young men from these whores.
Right? What up, lady? What up, lady? Lady train in the house. Yeah. Apparently, a lot of these red pillars, or like the more modern.
Let's get the clip ready. You keep talking. I'm gonna get the clip.
A lot of these modern red pillars feel like they're doing like us a service by like exposing how dumb women can be. Guys, I don't need a YouTube channel to point out how dumb women can be. No offense, ladies. And you don't need a YouTube channel to point out what kind of fuckboys we can be. You know what I mean? So it is stupid. I admit, like, I believe that their content and their format, which what eventually became the format, it wasn't always their format, but it became where they just invite dumb girls on and let girls crucify themselves, is just kind of stupid. Because if you take a bimbo and you ask her the square root of pi, she's going to have a dumbass fucking answer. Right?
Or she might blow your mind and then give you some blow brains.
Yeah, which occasionally happens. I love it on the whatever podcast is like, those guys are just white guys who stole Fresh and Fit's their whole format. And I love it when somebody, occasionally a girl does one up them. And I love it when those clips hit the internet, man.
Yes,
When they
absolutely.
ask a girl a question, they assume they're a bimbo because they're smart, like they're pretty or whatever, and they just flip it on.
Wait, I feel like we buried the lead. So someone asked over in Rumble what happened with Fresh and Fit. They got demonetized, which in my opinion is worse than getting deplatformed. Where
It's
YouTube
the
says,
same thing, in my opinion. It's the same thing. Basically, they're here's what I'm saying. They created a shop, a personal business, and
Right.
that business is now ruined. That's how
no.
powerful.
So here's the problem: they didn't create a personal business. They created a personal business with a silent partner, and that partner owns a majority stake because he not only owns the block, right? He owns the very shop in which you sell your wares.
Yes.
And then that person decided
YouTube
or
is the mafia, basically. They absolutely are. Let's not even fuck around with this.
Here's the thing, man. They could do this to any person at any time, but it hurts more when you're monetized at that level because basically YouTube is saying that we no longer want to be in business with you. We don't want to make any money with you, and we aren't going to let you make any money with us.
And we don't care if you and your followers leave, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Because they're turning away business and money, right?
Right.
And it's absolutely horrible. So there's a little conspiracy going. Not a conspiracy theory, but there is a theory out there.
All right. I want to hear the theory. Play the clip, though.
Of which one first?
I sent you a Fresh and Fit clip. It's the latest one I just sent you.
Okay, so real quick, the first theory is they want the red pill movement destroyed on YouTube.
Well, okay. How long did you think this was going to last? We've talked about this before at Fanboy, and this is why I'm always so surprised. Not you. I'm always so surprised that people think I'm red pill. I'm like, I'm not red pill. I'm practical in my approach to things. Women lie, men lie, and when you have two groups of women, a group of women and a group of men,
Crazy shit's gonna happen. Put them in the same room. You got content, baby.
You obviously are gonna have two groups with vested interests. Like,
but basically, here's what it is. That's why you're like looking at me. You're like, this is a surprise to you. It is a surprise to me. You know why? I cannot imagine what a politically motivated business person is. You know why? It is fucking stupid not to just worry about money. If I owned YouTube, I'd say they're making me money. I'm going to leave these guys alone. If anything, I might cover up their bad deeds.
But they did for a long time.
I would cover up the fuck out of them if they're making me money.
Here's the problem, right? They did for a long time. So you got to ask yourself a question. It wasn't the behavior towards women, quote unquote, that got them deplatformed. They also started doing other things.
Well, I know they do. They get into fist fights over there, right?
No, it's no. Never actual.
It's not fist fights.
You had some brothers show up, and Myron pulled his piece, his legally owned piece. But they started talking about a certain
tube. You can't do that,
bro. But they stayed on. So that wasn't the camel that broke. That wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back. Now having a guy like Nick Fuentes on, right? You see where I'm going with this?
So is Pearly gonna get canceled next?
More than likely. That's why she pulled down that song of her singing about why we can't talk about a certain community.
She is a nutcase. Okay, so I don't mind.
She went from a nutcase to from the love of your life to a nutcase that quickly.
You know what it is? Because she's such a grifter. She flipped like that quickly. Before she was sane, and as soon as people started hating on her, she's like, I'm gonna double down on being crazy. Now she's that crazy bitch you can't get rid of.
So listen, there's a difference between advocating for men's rights versus what the red pill does. And I asked DT Dub about this one day, what his thoughts were about the men's rights movement versus the red pill movement. Because the people over in the men's rights movement, like, we don't want to have anything to do with those guys over there. We're not propagating the banging of whores and all this nonsense. We're talking about fathers not being fleeced in the courts if they're actually good fathers. That type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in regards to Fresh and Fit, man, I'm not surprised this happened because they went on Sneako's channel on Rumble, right? Which is another platform, which is another conversation, I guess, but we can have it.
We're gonna have this conversation today, my man.
They went on Rumble, and Myron puts on a pillowcase emulating a high dragon, a Klansman, if you will.
I remember this was nuts.
Fifth level paladin Klansman, and go ahead, play the video.
I think this episode is sort of a reach and that I'm using Kevin Samuels' name for clout. But unfortunately, That's not the case. Kevin Samuels is not here to speak for himself today, so I want to vindicate a prophecy that he had back in April 2022 that Fresh and Fit would be demonetized. Rewind demo. It's 2020, and Kevin Samuels by that time has already blown up. He's the truth on YouTube, and Fresh and Fit are just a struggling YouTube channel. If you don't believe me, let's go to Social Blade when they started in 2020.
I love that Social Blade
September
gives us these answers 'cause I look
2020,
it up all the
they
time.
have 2,700 subscribers. They have 1,016.50 subscribers, which means they have over 4,000. By the time November 2020 came, they have 2,010 subscribers. And then by the time Kevin Samuels comes, they have 5,200 subscribers, less than 15,000 subscribers. And if you want to go look at their views for those respective months, there's 130,000, there's 165,000, there's 210,000, and there's 349,000 views. Kevin Samuels is already who he is during that period of time, and he's catapulting, which is why they wanted him to come down to Miami. And the first ever episode that we saw with Kevin Samuels in Fresh and Fit aired December 12th, 2020. And the name of the episode was called Kevin Samuels Explains High Value, Cold Hard Truth. If you don't believe me, let's take a listen.
I gotta say, that is the most Kevin Samuels title of a video I've ever heard in my life. He explains high value.
Even older women as to how to lock down a high value man. You know, you're getting 5,000 plus people watching you, asking these questions. What would be one of the biggest takeaway tips you could give to women in the current dating marketplace to lock down a high value guy?
Stop. Stop. Because only 10% of you are going to get it. I'm sorry. Look, I look. One of the biggest, 20% of you can qualify for it. Maybe 10% of you will land it. And that's really what my show is based on. You can, I don't begrudge you wanting what you want, but are you an 8, 9, and 10? Well, actually, an adjustable 6, 8, or 9 in the looks. And are you an 8, 9, or 10 in the body? If not,
Move along.
this is South Beach.
So at that particular point, Fresh and Fit were begging Kevin Samuels to come back
miss
on.
this motherfucker.
He thought these were some young
I
guys.
miss when Red Pillars were classy as opposed to the fucking ghetto ass thugs they are now. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, you know what the crazy thing about Kevin Samuels was, man? Like, he really did have that uncle that comes by once a year approach to life, didn't he? It's just like you ask him a question about Shakespeare and you're surprised he actually knows what you're talking about. And he gives you this very landed approach. He's like, well, Shakespeare's not going to help you get a job. And seeing as how your mother is my sister and I don't want you living in her house a day past 18, maybe you should think about getting employment. It's like, damn.
Yeah, no, I would love him to be my uncle. That would be amazing. So Rebex is giving pushback. She's saying classy question mark. You don't. Here's what I'm saying. Out of all the things you can say about Kevin Samuels, I think you can't say he wasn't classy.
Way classy, man. Way classy. Versus Zerka. Like, I
Right.
warned you guys. Man,
Yo,
did I not warn these people? I was like, when he was dead, I was like, when he first died, I was like, you know, you hate him, but I hate to see what's going to replace him. And here comes Andrew Tate. Okay, arguably, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then now you got Zerka. Zerka is taking over where Andrew Tate left off.
He's taking over the red pill movement, and they're getting worse and worse as they go along.
Yeah.
They're becoming more. You know, none of them are reaching the level of the master, Kevin Samuels. And so people, you can say a lot of things about him. You can't say he wasn't classy. He was a put together guy. He was articulate. And he knew his shit.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. RM says, Fresh and Fit hired a female security guard to fight female guests.
I mean, you can't hire a male security guard to fight female
No, but
guests.
they knew that there was such a risk of those fights going down that they're like, we need someone to beat those women's asses. That's pretty funny. Remix says not prophecy. I agree. That's kind of stupid that they said it's a prophecy.
Wait,
he just
wait,
realized
wait.
that these guys are idiots and they will be demonetized.
Well, that depends on what you think is prophetic, right? Because I hear a lot of people say things about like manifestation and all this shit, and I'm like, well, it sounds like circumstance to me, an educated guess. But let's let the man speak for himself, right?
So he kept doing it. And I want you to also look at this particular clip called Kevin Samuels Goes One-on-One with career woman Amanda. And this episode here got 3.3 million views. Let's play an excerpt of that.
Janina. Okay, one of the things I kept hearing, my name is Kevin Samuels, by the way, nice to meet you. One of the things I kept hearing is the notion of fairness. Why is that so important to you, Amanda?
I hate to admit it, but I do. Like, I'm half a man. I'm just a pretty girl. And I don't think that I should have to accept less in life because I was born with different equipment. I think that's
what?
She said she's half a man?
Oh, let's let it play.
bullshit.
Well, if you're half a man, then you should understand this full concept that men don't care about fair.
I don't have to care about fair either.
No. Men don't care about fair, or else we wouldn't conquer other people.
Now, by the time Kevin Samuels came on from December to March, Kevin Samuels helped Fresh and Fit accumulate in that month 32,400 subscribers. The next month, 69,000 subscribers.
We get
the
it.
Next
He
month
made
after
them.
that,
We get it.
94,000 subscribers. What am I trying to say here? Kevin Samuels gave birth to Fresh and Fit.
He didn't give birth. Jesus Christ. So, okay,
He
come
pushed
down.
them out.
He wrapped them or whatever. Child, I'm confused. Well, Bex, here's basically what it is. She was saying at first, I was like, half a man. Is this some sort of where we're going? Thank God it was not. What she's saying is she's worth half a man as being a woman. That was her complaint.
Kevin Samuels, they could have reached that success, but it would have taken them a long time. Let's look at some of the numbers before then. In January, they had 460,000 views. In February, 421,000 views. In March, 2.4 million views. The month Kevin came.
Let me break something down about O'Shea Duke Jackson, right? So a lot of people think that the advent of the Black Manosphere starts with Kevin Samuels, but in actuality, it's O'Shea. Right. Let me show you how old school O'Shea is, man. He was hosting these things on a little app called Google Plus. Do you remember Google Plus?
Oh my God. I was like a child when that shit was out, man. Are you kidding me? I used to post my comic books on that. That's how long
I know.
ago.
I remember. I followed you on Google Plus, man. I followed you on Google Plus. He was doing these things on Google Plus and Google Hangouts. He was hosting. He was the guy that actually put Kevin Samuels on. The reason he's making this point here, this very long, drawn-out point about Fresh and Fit, is that when they started copyright striking people back in the day, Fresh and Fit, after the whole ABBA and Preach thing, like they literally hit ABBA and Preach with a strike. They hit the playback guys with a strike. They hit the lead attorney, which is a very dangerous move because the lead attorney is not someone pretending to be an attorney on YouTube. Right. He is an attorney that's on YouTube. Right. And so O'Shea Duke Jackson has been on a campaign against them for many a moon because he's like, their message is actually harmful to men, is the thing that started. He's like, they are supposed to be teaching men about accountability, and they always quote accountability to women. So that's his hard on for these guys. He's like, these guys are shady. Obviously, he was really close to Kevin Samuels, and he didn't like the way they did their friend. Let's play the video, and I think eventually O'Shea will get to his point here, hopefully.
After that, 6.8 million views. And then in May, 15.75 million views, with many more collaborations, at least on StreamYard or Zoom, with Kevin Samuels. But how did they repay Kevin? They tried to compete with Kevin for his own audience. By doing what? Let's let Donovan Sharp tell it all.
Oh, man, I can relate
to this. The way things started, and I don't think anybody, I don't know, you guys may have heard other versions of this, but I'm going to tell you the 100% truth because I am very, very good friends with the both of them, right? Kevin and Myron are two of my very best friends. Kevin was one of my very best friends. And so Kevin had blown up. He'd
Never
gone
trust a
viral
man
on
in a
World Star Hip
sleeveless
Hop a
hoodie.
couple times. Then of course he
There's a bunch of things I don't trust about.
subscribers. He was on his way up. Then Fresh and Fit also hit the algorithm, and they started to grow. Well, Fresh and Fit had been doing Fresh and Fit After Hours at the same time Kevin was doing his show. Kevin never had a problem with it until Kevin felt that Myron and Fresh's live streams were infringing on his audience. He said to me, Donovan, that is my time slot. He said this to me. He said, that is my time slot. I said, Kevin, you're one of my best friends. You don't own any time slots. Okay? People can live stream whenever they want to live stream, number one. Number two.
Yeah, this motherfucker's a...
Number two. Myron and Fresh have been doing Fresh and Fit After Hours probably longer than you've done your late night show. So it became, now listen, I don't know what Kevin's motivations were. I'm not going to pretend to know because he didn't tell me.
Okay, so this guy's an idiot. Yeah. But basically, here's the deal. It's true nobody owns them. However, if you are in the same circle or same crew, you should respect other people's time limits. Now, if you stream over them for like 10, 15, maybe even half an hour, that's the only overlap, that's fine. But if you're completely taking over the thing, that's dishonorable.
So let me give you some working example. When the whole green room push came, right? So do you remember you were the the visionary behind that, right? You enlisted myself, public friend.
I made a schedule. For people
other
so that wouldn't stream over each other.
Yeah. So and one of the nights when we all premiered on Green Room, and I'm talking about we were doing heavy numbers for audio only, 20, 15 people. That's heavy numbers.
That is heavy numbers.
You in public went over on top of me. And like I sent you a message. I was like, yo, my show's starting, and you on air said, hey, we got to bring this to an end. Hold Up is premiering on Green Room, and this is the slot. You literally said that, right? You're like, I guess we got to end now. Hold Up is supposed to start right now, and it came to an end. No bad feelings. The few times that we've streamed over each other, there was always a conversation between us. I think there was only one time where it was like, we didn't have a conversation. And that was New Year's, and I was just like, what the fuck, man? This is live, and then you went live for the ball drop, and then you
was it in Green Room or was it in Spoon?
Green Room. And you cut the stream after the ball drop because you were inebriated. But there's a certain
I was
level
with
of
Evan.
etiquette.
I was with Evan.
Right. There's a certain level of etiquette that comes along with this thing. But that's not the issue. Actually, I can say this from watching the video, Kevin Samuels is going to go on to say that the type of content that Fresh and Fit makes eventually is going to become problematic. And he saw it before they were doing things like they were doing on Sneako's Lives. We're long enough into our own stream at an hour and 13 minutes when I can tell you exactly what I think got them demonetized.
Please tell us.
It was the commentary on the Jewish community, right? Bringing Nick Fuentes on there. It was the attacks at Abba and Preach wearing the Ku Klux Klan garb and things of those natures. And at a certain point, YouTube has to say, hey, we were maybe willing to turn a blind eye to kicking the thoughts out, right?
Yeah.
out of your apartment. But we can't turn our eye on this type of stuff here. And they did it in such a shrewd way where they didn't kick him off like they did fucking Sneeko or Andrew Tate. They were like, yo, we're just not in business with you anymore. Now, let's be real. Myron and the other guy have made millions on YouTube. Why this is so interesting is, as content creators, I don't want to see anyone lose their bag. But how many times do I have to warn you before you lose your bag, right? Man, you know me. I'm the type of guy that's sitting over on the side like, nigga, you're fucking up. Like, I'm warning you right now.
Yeah, you're constantly telling me to shut up.
I'm like, the fight's about to break out any given moment. Hail to Matt. What's up, Matt?
Yo, Matt, what up? He says, hail to the chat. Hail to Mantis Blammo. He says, hail to Steve. He also says, I'm late. YouTube never sends me notifications. What up, my man, Matt Cat? Matt Cat, I am loving on his own personal YouTube channel. You guys should all check that out. Please put the link in the chat right now. But I'm loving your coverage of basically everything with Rachel Zegler and everything. You're doing a spot on job of holding it down right now. I'm loving it. But ultimately, here's the whole thing. You are right. You're absolutely right. That is probably why they went after Freshman Fit.
Right.
Because and just like Sneeko went too far too. Right? Yeah. Sneeko was having fun. He was doing whatever. And eventually, we all do it. We eventually kind of experiment with how far we can go. And we cross that line. We don't even realize it.
Right. And here's the thing. YouTube is a privately owned platform, right? It's owned by a conglomerate, but it's privately owned nonetheless, man. Now, here's the sad part of this tale. We can play, if you want, I can send you the clip of Myron himself telling you how sad he is about this. Would you like that clip, or would you like me to?
Yeah, let's check it out. And while you're getting it, I want to talk about it. Because ultimately, here's the reason why. I remember you were like saying, don't bother with configuring Rumble. We should just like stream or whatever. The reason why I wanted for this episode, particularly, but all episodes, why I needed to configure Rumble is because YouTube is unsafe.
Yeah.
We do a podcast where we drink and hang out and we act normal. We act like ourselves. You don't think eventually we're going to say something or do something that's going to piss off the elitists?
No, 100%. And like, as much as I enjoyed that episode that night, the hip hop conspiracy, black conspiracies with Bex, shout out to Bex. I realized that night we had said some things in that episode that could have gotten us not only fired, like kicked from YouTube, but fired from our day jobs.
Yes,
because I was like, whether or not.
So wouldn't you rather move? Wouldn't you rather move to a place where we are free?
Well, there's no true freedom left, right? There are consequences.
I'm talking about Rumble, damn it! I'm talking about Rumble.
There are consequences for the things you say. So that's why you either believe the things you say and you stand on them, or you don't. That night we were talking about Sean Puffy Combs potentially, yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who will not understand our conversation on that one, right?
Right.
Here's what I'm suggesting to you. We should leave YouTube and only stream on Kick and Rumble.
I thought that was the plan, man. It's
no, but I mean, really, instead of just talking about it, really do it. And we'll make sure that every one of our super fans, every one of our main people in the chat, people who we always communicate with, are on Rumble as well, so they can come and join us.
Folks, this is the last episode of Fanboy on YouTube. Essentially, is what's happening here, right?
That's what I want to move to, because it shows the what Fresh and Fit is. It's the start of a purge that we have not seen before, and I understand that they've crossed lines. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this.
People aren't looking at the obvious Trojan horse. It happened to those extreme motherfuckers. You don't think there was a memo sent out like, "Hey, we're coming after anyone who isn't in line with our business values"? Am I wrong, bro? Am I wrong? Like, they have the right to do that.
They have the right to, but like, they're idiots because they should be interested in making money. But F this. Let's go to a place where we don't have to worry about that.
Well, Rumble's under attack. They just had a horrible month in the stocks, right? People are trying to bring it into Rumble as well. Like, I just want you to know that
people are trying to bring down everything. There's no safe space. But what I'm saying is, at least Rumble, to the best of my knowledge, will not cancel us. Will not say, we didn't like that joke you made, Steve. We're removing you.
Good point. I say we go back to the Korean app and we bring the heat to them.
Which one's the Korean one?
Spoon, motherfucker.
Oh. We'll see what they bring. We'll see what they bring. Maybe they'll bring something. I don't know.
Yeah, play the clip. Play this clip, because I think you're gonna love it.
Play the clip.
This is like a master class, and then we can move on to why Ariana Grande and a bunch of other weird little people left this poor man in
This poor guy, they just left him holding his own dick.
Complete destitution. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Boom.
And then we got to talk about Ahsoka. I did not watch it. I think it's premiering right now. I just saw Star Wars Theory was doing a live reaction. To
Because they put it up tonight. They put, they're like, oh, it's early. It's coming Tuesday. And I was like, well, I got to work. So I got other things to do.
How was the concert, by the way, man? How was the concert?
Oh, right. I went to Pixies. I went to Modest Mouth with my sister. Amazing. Incredibly good time. We are old.
Right.
We realize now we're old.
Right.
So.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, man. Did the Pixies, in fact, play Where Is My Mind?
They did. They played all their classics.
Frank Black, man. Did they get into any Breeders? Did they do any Breeders spinoffs?
You know what the harder shit is? The hardest thing about it was both Modest Mouse and Pixies worse because they're older. Seeing them old. And they're rocking out and they're having a good time. That's great. But it just makes you realize how old you are.
Right. I get you. It's like, that's why I was never a Grateful Dead fan. I was like, I don't want to see Garcia. He was old when I was born. So now he's really old.
Now he's super old. So Matt says, yeah, Fresh and Fit. I like them, but I don't like anyone not being able to make money off their content. I'm a huge proponent to make money from your art and a free speech absolutist. Absolutely. Right. And then he says, yeah, Spoon, now I can mention that fat girl that man just helped out as a fat girl.
Yo, the fact that they were sending out copyright strikes and them being huge proponents of free speech and, free use is fair use is such a huge deal on YouTube. That's why I don't like the fact that the Breakfast Club is on YouTube. Like, why can't people react to your content? Why can't we react to it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we watch and react? It's on YouTube. It's so crazy. Play this clip. Okay. Before you play it, I got to tell you this. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed, man, because a lot of people are taking the high road. Like, I would never want to see another channel demonetized, but I understand. Tariq Nasheed basically said, man, F these fools, man. He called Myron a tether. Oh. Called Fresh a tether. Like, it's crazy.
But remember, as a free speech absolutist, I would actually say that, like, I don't care if I agree with your speech. I just think you have the right to say it.
Right.
And YouTube should monetize you because if you're actually bringing people in, if you're actually getting views, then that should bring in money.
The only time I have a problem with your speech is when it's outside of my house. But if you find yourself on my property trying to see how the boundaries of free speech, right? And maybe you have 20 friends with you, then I'm going to let loose because guess what? Your speech has consequences. If you're standing outside of my property talking about I'm allowed as an American, you were allowed.
No, absolutely. Obviously, I believe that too. There should be, there are and should be consequences to your speech. But I do think that these kind of like, these archaic Nazi-like tendencies to be like, we don't like what they're saying, so let's ruin their livelihood, let's ruin their jobs, let's ruin their families, let's dox them. That is going
Jonathan
too far.
Majors them. I'm making Jonathan Majors into a verb, by the way. Let's Jonathan Majors them.
Yes, and I'm saying F that. I'm saying absolutely F that. Let's see what these guys have to say.
That was great, but saving you guys is better.
What is he doing?
It's a crime. They lost millions of dollars.
Millions.
He couldn't
lead attorney here. People wanted me to react to this. Now, why is that? Fresh and Fit doesn't really care for me too much.
What do you guys think about the lead attorney?
No comment.
X.
Yep.
Hell no.
People want to know if I'm happy about what has happened to their channel. They want to know if I'm going to take a victory lap. Well, I am not happy. And this video will not be a victory lap. For those who don't know, Fresh and Fit's channel was just demonetized yesterday. Now, Abba from Abba and Preach had predicted.
Once again, I got to say, I want to point out that a lot of people are laughing and they're like, blah, 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 ha, 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 ha. And it's true, I don't love them either. But that ruined their livelihood. It ruined their business.
Oh, bro! Not only did that happen, they also that spot they film in is Fitz Myron's apartment. So they've also been evicted from there. By the way, they can no longer live there or host a podcast there. They had just put down a sizable amount of money for a new studio prior to this happening.
Did this over a month ago.
You know, if you're proud of this, congratulations, brother. You played yourself. I don't think there's much to be said. I wouldn't be surprised if the YouTube channel gets deleted.
Everybody realized it was just
Everyone's
a matter of time
YouTube channel
when
is
you
gonna be
had that
deleted,
tall
you
guy
idiots.
sitting there in the Ku Klux hood. Even though it wasn't very surprising, being that he had made some racist commentary on his channel in the past. Racist commentary that I called out. So maybe it's me. Maybe you don't have a problem. Anybody in the chat have a problem with this fresh and fit guy insinuating that Preach is an ape, a chimp? You know, there was this video on Reddit where this white guy, this racist guy, was calling this dude the N-word, and he was like, I was like, shit. He's for real. But I also want you to notice the visual, the way he's doing his arms like an ape. And I want you to notice a few points. And this is a short clip, guys. I want you to notice how he's doing his fucking hands. What really kind of took me over the edge is that there was a white girl in the back. And when he was doing, the white girl started laughing.
Your wife is probably ugly. I said it.
Yo,
And you gave her a ring pop and you licked her at your fucking wedding.
we should fly her up, bro.
Weirdo.
Hey, yo, we should fly her up.
Guaranteed. Flew out. Flew out. You may kiss the bride. This dumb ass nigga. I love you.
Yo, this is the content that fucking gets millions of subscribers.
Yes, and this is the content that gets you kicked off eventually.
But at least they made their money. If they invested well.
Guess so.
We help men improve. What the fuck are you dumbass niggas doing behind your shitty ass road shotgun mic?
Yo, chat.
All right, pause it. So there was also some
Look at the
there was some questioning in regards to Fit. That's the guy with the hoochie daddy shorts on. His free use of the N-word. People were like, "Wait, where's this guy from?" So he's Sudanese or from the Sudan, right? And
Sudan's Africa, right?
Yeah. So apparently, you we had to re-educate people on the fact that, like, yes, he is indeed black. He's a black Arab, to be exact. And so let's continue.
White girl.
I could tell you niggas stink from the fucking video I'm watching right now. Y'all be sweating in the fucking studio.
But also, what our legal man is failing to see, or he's pretending not to see, is that no one's more racist toward black people than other black people.
Well, now you're embarking in a very, very interesting and dangerous place. Now, Mantis, I tread these waters all the time. I want to warn you before you get here. My life has never been the same, right? I've been arguing with you. I want to warn you before you tread into these. You get into this deep place here.
The truth is that
you've been warned. You know the type of folks who hit me up on Facebook.
I have never heard so many comments as black people, black on black insults, basically, particularly monkey comments.
Right. Okay.
And so he's acting like he's ignorant to this. The lawyer, he's like, I don't even understand. Why is this guy acting like an ape? Yo, that's what trash talking is, bro.
He was questioning his blackness at all at this point, right? He's like, he didn't know that Myron was, he's black. Now, do we need to qualify it by saying he's a black Arab? Do we need to qualify it that way? Or do we just say he's black?
It is horrible. We need to quantify any of it, basically.
Okay. Continue.
Close to each other, talking that shitty ass mic. Hey, what you take on this Preach? I don't know.
Fuck is this? Look at the white girl laughing. Shout out to the white girl. But whatever, that's in the past. Last night they had a stream. It was
shout out
just
to the white girl.
Fresh and fit guys. No drunk women in halter tops and tattoos arguing back and forth, waiting to get kicked out of their apartment. And they called it a meeting. They called it an emergency meeting. They wanted to discuss the possible demise of their channel. They were somber in that meeting because they realized that their channel had just been demonetized. Now, if you're not a content creator, you do not know the pain of having your channel
None of you
channel's
know the
ability
pain
to
unless
earn
you've been
money
there.
taken away. These were two young, hardworking men making millions, and it's all gone. This pain is enormous. The tall one even cried.
Saving children, right? That was great. But saving you guys is better.
Weird.
Oh my God.
AJ Rowe.
Making millions.
Yeah.
All gone.
Yeah, man, this is tough, bro.
He would not wish this pain on anyone. Well, that's a lie. See, the trauma that Fresh and Fit is feeling right now, they tried to make other content creators feel that same trauma, that same pain just last year. How did they do that, you ask? Well, Fresh and Fit hired a $2 attorney and a 7-cent paralegal to spam out copyright strikes across
We're gonna rewind
all
that.
of the
We're gonna rewind
platform.
that. That is fucking hysterical that he said that.
Right. You love that, right?
Feel that same trauma, that same pain just last year. How did they do that, you ask? Well, Fresh and Fit hired a $2 attorney and a 7-cent paralegal to spam out copyright strikes across all of the platform targeting certain content creators. Fresh and Fit wanted these content creators to lose their monetization. They wanted these content creators to lose their entire channel.
Did they really?
They wanted me,
Yeah,
the
I just
lead,
told you that,
to
man. They
lose my
copyright
channel.
struck
They
a bunch.
wanted me to feel that pain that they're crying about today. They
did
hired
that to him?
$2 attorney,
Yeah.
and that $2 attorney put 10 copyright
Watch.
strikes
Keep
against
game.
me. Let's take a look. This is what their attorney filed against me. Says, thank you for your submission. It is under review to ensure it's valid. Here is the information you filled out. Here we go. Copyright owner name, Fresh and Fit. Now, you only need 3 to lose your channel. And this guy hit me with 10. Each one of those 10 was fraudulent and it was
That's
against YouTube's terms of service. Now, I rarely use Fresh and Fit's content. When I did, it was always under fair use. So imagine this $2 attorney tries to attack me. It could be true that I use their content, but I use their content 18 for 20 seconds. But listen, if I use your content for 20 seconds, you better believe I'm using it under fair use. I'm a goddamn attorney.
I fucking love this dude. But yeah, guys. So remember, for a video clip, it is 20 seconds. For a song clip, it is 6 seconds.
Right.
So
And we went
remember
way too long with
what
Lizzo.
you can fair use.
Oh, bro. We're going to talk about Dylan Danish and Logan Paul and the coffin which Logan Paul lives in now. But shout out to my guy, Eamon. Dylan Danish used one of Eamon's song in the now viral clip that has like over 5.4 million views in it. I want to know what your thoughts are. He did not
Is
get
Amish
Eamon's
making money
permission.
off of it?
He did not. I repeat, he did not get Eamon's permission.
Oh, he's got to jump on that. Yo, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, says Max. Absolutely.
100%.
AJ says, about choked on my dinner when dinner said, shout out to the white girl in the back. That was funny that he's criticizing that the white girl's laughing, and he says, shout out to the white girl in the back. Oh my God. Okay, let's see. So,
Are you kidding me? Oh, but YouTube already knew that attorney was on some BS. We are concerned that some of the information in your takedown request may be fraudulent. Please understand that
This is in
YouTube receives a
response to
large
question.
amount of fraudulent copyright takedown results. And we take this abuse of that process very seriously. YouTube sent me the entire email chain of the correspondence that the YouTube team had with Fresh and Fit's attorney and that 7-cent paralegal. Guys, when I woke up to this shit here, boy, I was on this shit on my phone like, oh my God. A nigga was scrolling. I was like, oh my God. The email chain showed that the YouTube team knew that those 10 copyright strikes against me were fraudulent. YouTube gave Fresh and Fit 7 days to apologize and retract each one of those 10 fraudulent copyright strikes against me. You may be able to avoid termination if you retract.
Oh, he's loving this, man. He's eating that up.
If you want to avoid termination of your channel, take this shit back.
Take it back, bitch.
This bullshit back.
Well, wait, I want to address this right now. So I didn't know any of this, and this makes me see and look at Fresh and Fit differently. So I've already been on my soapbox. I've been preaching. I've been saying like these guys are poor creators and they're getting dicked over or whatever. But I did not know that they were one of those bad faith motherfuckers who try to screw over other tubers.
Yes, no, bro. I literally said it like 15 minutes ago. They hit him with a copyright strike. Abba and Preach, Playback, and a few other people. They tried to get him out of here.
Fucking, that's fucked up. So, good riddance to their channel. Who would dance on your graves, you son of a bitch?
That they did not retract those fraudulent claims against me. Their entire
the Sudan, is that even really a black country?
Account would be terminated. They even explain how to do it. They're like, listen, paralegal, if you don't know how to do it, please reply to this email with, quote, I hereby retract my bullshit claim. They didn't say bullshit. Of copyright infringement, period. The YouTube team. So what happened? Well, the attorney apologized, retracted each one of those claims, and YouTube allowed their channel to stay up. Think about it. Fresh and Fit hired that $2 attorney to take my channel down, and now look at their situation. Look what they are in tears about today. Now, is this karma? What it's not is a time to celebrate. I have no ill will, no bad blood with Fresh and Fit. I haven't talked about them on my channel in well over a year. I wish these brothers well. The reason that I'm making this video is to underscore the importance of what has just happened. Most of you don't make YouTube videos. Only a content creator can know the particular pain that you suffer when your channel is under attack. Last night on their channel, Fresh and Fit hosted what they termed an emergency meeting. We should not forget, though, that last year on my channel, I hosted an emergency meeting. Now, it did not start out that way. I had just turned on my camera and started talking about Fresh and Fit's $2 attorney's attack against me and my channel. But
I love Bex. I absolutely love Bex, but she's always attacking the mixed blood. We're all disgusting, like troglodytes to her.
What's the word they use in Harry Potter?
Muggle. Or mudblood? Is it mudblood or
mudblood? Muggles? Ugh, yuck.
Yeah, to Bex, I'm some sort of fucking freak ass animal that shouldn't exist. Neither is this motherfucker. We're all just disgusting throwaways to you.
Whoa, hold on for a second. My miscegenation, according to Ancestry.com, is only 22%. I'm good.
Wait, what?
Only 22.
You?
Yes.
Wait, 22% what?
That's none of your fucking business, bro.
You're like 22% Asian or something.
It's only 22%. I'm good. I'm still welcome.
Oh, but RM says, yeah, but I Show Speed has been abusing copyright strikes and showed his dick on a live stream, but YouTube hasn't dropped it. You're right, and that's considered child porn.
Facts. All right, we're almost to the end. We can move on to the next topic.
Bex is laughing at her bigotry.
As I started explaining what was happening to me, other content creators started filing into the stream. Big dogs on the YouTube platform, some of the greatest. And we all started talking about how Fresh and Fit was attacking content creators on the platform, abusing YouTube's copyright system. Who was there? Well, for one, Abba from Abba and Preach. And Abba was the one that initially sounded the alarm to what Fresh and Fit was doing. That you were really the one who kind of sounded the alarm on this. I guess individual content creators that were affected knew about it, but really no one else really knew about it. Talk to us a little bit about how all this started.
Yeah, so a couple other content creators got hit, but they didn't get the email that we got. What they got was instantaneous strike.
Then those strong young brothers from Playback showed up and they talked about what was going on. Can you tell us a little bit about your interaction with this situation, kind of where it started with you guys?
Yeah, so our previous system was we would just look at videos online, and if we saw something, we'd send it in a group chat. One of the videos I came across was a video of Fresh specifically. Look, what felt like obviously lying about a story where an NBA player gave him. Can I swear on the show?
Yes.
Oh, NBA player gave him pussy. So I played I played 2 minutes of it to load.
I didn't know you were going there, but keep going.
It was a threesome with 3 girls and Fresh. Somehow mapping that up, but
threesome with 3 women and Fresh.
Anyway,
Okay.
I thought it was so funny. I played a couple minutes for low, and we were bawling. You're like, I was off my chair. We were having. It was one of our most fun recordings because it was just obviously fake. But anyway, we reacted to it. But they didn't like that. So at the time, this was before their channel had blown up.
Shout out to the 16 and
this is
Rumble.
when they made a
Shout out
response
to
to us, I
16.
believe.
Yeah, this is actually before they responded to Abba and Preach. So a lot of things that people got to witness around August, summertime with Abba and Preach, they had did that to us.
Yeah, so I'd like to point out this concept, and like this shouldn't be like news to anybody, but it should be an honor to have someone react to you.
100%.
That someone puts up your video and they're reacting to you, whether it's negative or positive, it's gonna be good press in one way, but also it's just an honor, right?
Well, especially when you exist in a place like the Red Space that says we're logic based, we're stoic in our response. You're right. Your next move is to debunk them. Oh, shit,
yes,
that's a dirty word. Right?
But,
someone says some crazy shit about you, you debunk their false claims.
This shows that they're just like charlatans, that they were writing a fad, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't believe in any of the philosophies of the Red Pill.
And that's always been my point, man. I've said it on Spoon. I've said it to DT Dub. I'm like, I don't know how many guys actually genuinely believe the things that they're espousing, right? I will stand 10 toes down and debate people on topics. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong until further evidence proves otherwise, right? But if you can't even respond to your critics, then what are you doing on here, man? What are you doing on YouTube?
Right.
In February.
Shout out to Anthony Brian Logan, over 1 million subscribers. He showed up and gave his opinion on the matter.
Take the good and the bad with it. And as a matter of fact, if you really are that upset, then debunk them, disprove them, react to their reaction and do it that way.
Yo, why does Anthony Brian Logan, shout out to him, and always sound like he's kicking the verse? He's like, take the good with the bad, debunk them. I'm expecting this shit to rhyme.
Yo, you're absolutely right. I loved it when he was doing the Trump breakdown. And he was like, he's like, in the Georgia thing, they were listing names, and they were listing this name and this name and that name and this name, and for a second there, I thought they were gonna name me. He's a funny cat.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my God. Oh, so the clown face there, if you're wondering who that is, that's the guy from the Duke and John podcast. I don't know why he got the clown emoji, but yeah, that's who that is.
Maybe he didn't want to be in the video, but I don't know how they
No. When someone puts a clown face over you as opposed to a smiley face, they're saying something purposeful.
Yes.
And Lead is saying something right now.
Did a video about the video y'all did, and it was all good. I ain't gonna strike you for what? Why would I do that? Like, it's criticism and it's fair and it's fine. Y'all do that. We do that with each other in the regular life. I think they're trying to control the narrative, and they're not able to do that in a broad sense. So it was like, all right, let's get a lawyer, take all the videos down, and do it that way. That's so soft to me. And they're gonna realize they can't do that. They can't abuse that system. And if they don't fix it, hey man, bye-bye channel.
The Young G Poor Man's podcast showed up and he gave his perspective.
If you build your brand and your marketing scheme
Everyone
is
was
on
there,
controversy,
man.
how
Everyone
can you get
got
mad
in
when
this.
people
Why
react
weren't
to
we
the
invited?
controversy? If you're marketing towards controversy, then
pause it
we're
real
giving
quick.
you what you
Yeah.
want when we react to it. Like, look at Lil Nas X.
Shout out to El Guapo. right, from Beautiful Lies, who came on Conversations That Matter and gave me, I'm always going to give him respect, gave me a beautiful shout out on his channel that is way bigger than mine. And when he came on, there was no reason for him to come on the show, but I think he was also present for this, and he also did a review on this entire thing on his own channel. So shout out to Beautiful Lies, El Guapo, always giving very, very stoic responses to things, man. One of the many things, Guapo was very consistent in his response to shit. So we can keep rolling it, man.
You know, he marketed using controversy. Cool. But he's okay with the kickback. He's built a strong enough audience so that when the kickback comes, he thrives from the controversy. But if you're going to build off controversy, then don't be upset when people respond to it via reaction videos. And it's just kind of upsetting because we're already in a spot where censorship is already bad. And they even talk about censorship on their show because they understand
why
how
are we
bad
turning
it is.
on each
so
other?
then why would you then go and censor other people that are calling you out on obvious BS? If this was set up according to your marketing scheme, then you knew what was going to come with it. So why would you be upset?
Someone calling me out on
Spencer
my
Cornelia got on camera and talked about how his channel had got hit
totally
by Fresh
good
and Fit.
press.
Yo, I got to contact App. Actually, let me take it back. Jamari reached out to me about 2 weeks ago. They hit him with a copyright claim. And he said, hey, just look out. You know, I'm not sure if they're doing it site-wide. I said, oh, man, I haven't been hit yet. Well, once I got hit, I hit him up. And then I sent a message to Abba. I was like, yo, FYI, this is happening. Like, has it happened to you guys? And then I guess you noticed Playback got it. And so that triggered you to make the video.
Even the late, great Kevin Samuels came up and talked about his views on people abusing the copyright system.
This isn't coming in as fair use. This is coming in as we don't like what people are saying, and this is that, and that's a dangerous game because even if you're right on the particular element of one or two videos, when it's done like this, you can tend to be wrong on the bigger parts. Like from what I understand, lots of creators woke up with several different strikes way of approaching it. But I think it's going to be interesting because even though I have my personal opinions on it, I think there'll be a discussion about this greater in YouTube. But at the end of the day, trying to get anybody's channel taken down simply because you don't like what they're saying, in my opinion, is counterproductive.
So many content creators came up in that meeting to talk about what Fresh and Fit was doing. And then there were even other content creators that were in the chat. The OG O'Shea Duke Jackson was in the chat commenting. Shout out to Sinful the P. Rest in peace. He was giving his perspective in the chat. My brother Pocket Watching with JT was there. Anton Daniels was in the chat. So many other YouTubers were in the chat as well, opining on this situation. Now that was an emergency meeting. It was an emergency meeting about two young men who were attacking content creators across the platform.
Yeah, it's
the
horrible.
upshot is that
That's
Fresh and
utterly
Fit was trying to make content creators go through the same trauma last year that Fresh and Fit is going through today. Again, this is not good. We content creators are a particular group, and we can all be victims of demonetization. This is not a celebratory time. Now, is it fair? Is it karma? Put down in the comments section what you think. Let me know if you believe that the YouTube team made the correct call in demonetizing the Fresh and Fit channel.
You don't have to answer that question. I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm...
What do you think? What do you think?
I think here's what it is. I need to see what their actual complaints are, but in general, off the bat, it seems like it's pretty legit that they are the scum of YouTube and they need to be eradicated from it. However, I will defend someone's freedom of speech till the end, so I don't know. What was the exact claim on them? I don't think anyone knows.
Not yet.
But I think you're right. I think you're probably right. That it is probably has to do with the racist things, wearing the hood and all that kind of shenanigans.
No, 100%. I'm going to send you one more clip in
Oh, please.
regards to the Logan Paul thing we're going to talk about, unless you want to get into some other shit real quick.
No, let's do some Logan Paul. I hate that dude, so I love talking about how he gets thrown off of shit.
All right, here we go. And boom.
Shakalaka. Oh, here we go. Logan
Sweet.
Paul
This is our last episode on YouTube. Fight Juice Online, man. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
What do you think? How do you feel?
Well, before I get into that, Nawazaka 786 says, "Hi friend, I'm jobless. I just created my channel on Rumble. I need your help to earn money from Rumble. So please follow me. My page. Please follow my page. Share my video." Okay. Block.
Yeah, some people just don't know how to ask for shit.
I don't know, man. I don't know. The fresh and fit shit, man, is, bro, they got what they deserved at the end of the day, right? Like
It
when you
breaks my
see
heart.
that,
It breaks my
when you see
heart
the
to hear that
context
they were
of-
scumbags.
Yeah, when you see the context of them fucking copyright striking so many people.
Why are people copyright striking anyone else? What is fucking wrong with these people? We're one community.
I was trying to tell you. Wait, okay, yeah, I think that's the right one. Hit the shit. Let's talk about fucking Logan Paul, right?
So Logan Paul, real quick before we get any further, Logan Paul, although he's been doing his boxing grift, and that's not a
Right.
very good boxing grift.
Right, he sucks.
He sucks. However, he only calls out opponents who are guys who are like in retirement, way older than him, and guys who just aren't going to be able to keep up with him.
And he's huge. Yo, the fact he had so much weight over Floyd Mayweather and still looked like a complete buffoon.
Yes.
Because that's what happens when you challenge one of the greatest to ever do it. Continue.
Yeah. And so this idiot, and by the way, he is actually, it's so funny. Everyone thinks of him as a baller. He has all this money. He does all these things. He's actually in horrible debt. You know why? Because he's done the crypto rug pull.
Pokemon shit.
Yeah, multiple times. And he's got caught on it. He's been fined from the government for it. He has all these things. So he ultimately owes a bunch of people money. This guy is a piece of garbage. Of course, the world loves celebrities who are pieces of garbage, so that's why we have him here.
Let's talk about it. It's freaking hot down here. Continue.
Let's see what this video has to say.
Nightmare of Logan Paul. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to Logan Paul been going through on Twitter. I can't help but find some of it funny, but it's also actually
17
fucked up.
people
It's
in
actually
Rumble.
fucked up, and
hell yeah.
I
Shout out
just
to my
know this is
Rumble
probably
people.
the best fight promo I've ever seen in my life. I know Logan probably doesn't feel like it's promo. He probably feels like it's an attack. But I am so excited. I have never been more excited to watch a fight. I just need to see who wins in the ring after all this trash talk. Because this is not even like performative trash talk. This is actually hurtful and damaging trash talk. There's just no way around it. I'm hoping this video
So,
like
if you don't know
outlines
who
everything, 'cause
Logan
it's
Paul
insane
is,
what I've
he's
been
Big
seeing.
Paul's
Guys, so
brother,
a couple
the
of
one that
days
can
ago, we
box.
talked about
Right.
Logan Paul's
There you
next boxing match. He recently announced that he'll be fighting Dylan Danis. Yes, it's Danis. I kept saying Danis last time. And ever since Logan made this announcement, Dylan has been going on an absolute Twitter tirade where he's posting Logan's fiance with all these various men who she has allegedly been involved with over the years. And at first it was kind of just funny.
That's how you win a
he had
fight.
4 or 5 pictures going on. But at this point, days have passed and the hits just keep on coming. It's like celebrity after celebrity after old man after various uncles of mine. And at this point, guys, I'm really just here to cover the additional carnage.
Thank you for sending this video, Personas. So Logan Paul's girl is a hoe who fucks old dudes and fucking like uncle-like characters
And randos.
And
Well,
randos.
Allegedly.
We all know it's true. She looks like a hoe.
So here's the thing, right? So obviously the feminist response to this would be, how do you know she's screwing all these guys? We don't, right? This is all fair game, love and war, and the internet. And Logan Paul and Jake are known to use the internet in their favor when roasting their opponents. So Dylan Danish, who is a grappling champion and I believe he has 2 fights in Bellator and MMA rule set. You know, this guy gets roasted on the internet all the time. But then, apparently, all you needed was Logan Paul to bring out the dragon.
Are you ready to hear a story about how I'm an asshole?
Always.
So you know, when I used to teach kung fu, the sportification of kung fu is sanda. That's the Chinese kickboxing rules.
Yes.
And obviously everyone's training kung fu before they do it. And so when we would go to tournaments, we would do sanda. And so the problem is that kung fu would teach you things like you should be a vegetarian, you should be one with nature, you should love animals, all this shit. However, I would teach them the opposite. And so
eat meat, knock your opponent out.
and when kids were talking about like talking bad or being things, I actually told kids, I said, you should be comfortable with saying bad words. And they were like, I don't understand why. And I was like, you are fighting this person. And I was like, when you're fighting them, you're getting close. Feel free to say mean things to them. And I was like, you don't want to be a nice person. You don't want to think about the humanity of someone you're about to pummel.
Right.
And so I was like, if you're getting in the clinch, feel free to say something mean. And they're like, what? And I would give examples. And I'm not going to say this here on the stream. But I would say shit they should freaking say to their opponents.
Right.
And that is one of the problems with this situation with Logan Paul and all this, that people hate Trump, people hate Logan Paul, they hate all these people, but they're unwilling to do what it takes to deal with a bully. You know what it takes to deal with a bully? To insult him, to insult his mother, to talk shit, and to do low blows.
Right. It's all fair, man. It's all
and
fair.
You obviously, obviously you've trained in a non-glove sport, but like, you know about the whole sweat shit.
Whoa, what are you talking about?
So if you want to slide through somebody's guard when you have gloves on, you put the sweat on your glove, and that's gonna slide right through you.
Here's the thing, right, man? We're talking about Logan Paul and Jake Paul, right? Logan Paul, who's had 3 redemptive arcs during the internet, right? So there was the obvious. Well, yeah, that's all it can be, right? So there was a situation that happened in the S word forest in Japan.
Right, that forest or what? I don't think he ever recovered from that.
CoffeeZilla. Well, he did recover because then motherfuckers bought his fucking NFTs, right? And then CoffeeZilla tried, basically buried him. And it's like, yeah, this guy's a Podzilla, CoffeeZilla. No offense. Buried him, right? And then there's this shit. So it's like 3 times that he's been buried. Here's my issue with this whole thing, right? I don't feel bad for Logan Paul. And I don't necessarily feel bad for his fiance because I believe that women are equal. And in being equal, you have to understand that you're married to a guy who's made a career out of attempting to roast people on the internet. Now, what Dylan Danish has done is that he went on a 3-day binge where he has to have a bunch of trolls working for him. Mantis, what you're about to see now is not black belt level internet destruction. This is the fabled red belt internet destruction.
All I want to say this is, like I was teaching my students, that if I'm up against an opponent, I feel like it is fine that I blow up pictures, if I can find them, of his girl blowing some guy he hates. 100%. And I blow pictures and I put it in the front row.
Bro, if we're in a death match and you don't think I'm going to use every tactic I can, right? Yeah. Roll it.
So yeah, I applaud this kid for fucking pointing at his girl.
Because I find this whole situation to be absolutely hilarious. I think for a while, Logan Paul really could kind of control the narrative surrounding his name. For a couple of years there, he was really building up his reputation. But now it really seems like this could all be Logan's 3rd fall from grace. Of course, the first one happens in Japan. The next one was when CoffeeZilla took him behind the barn to try and finish him off like old Yeller. And now Dylan Dennis might...
What's that say? Guess who's back? Since you want to make bets and you're so confident you're gonna knock me out, if I win, you had to make me the best man at your wedding.
Oof.
Stick the fork in this man. So he returns to Twitter and says, since you want to make bets and you're so confident you're gonna knock me out, if I win, you have to make me the best man at your wedding. We need to thank Nina for influencing Jamie Foxx to make one of the best hits of all time, Gold Digger. Here's a picture with her and white guy number 4052. Here Dylan says, let's get checked. Logan, as your best man, I advise you to take a kit from her and get checked, brother. And here you can see her doing some type of STD promotion with a dirty-looking individual. I mean, what were these two just doing? What's with all the white splatter right here on his hoodie?
Dirty?
And the lore gets even deeper, guys. She's made
Here she
various
is.
TV appearances where she said some rather suggestive things.
Are there any foods that make either of you gag?
My gag reflex is pretty strong. Yeah, I have to say. It'll take
Wife material.
take a lot.
Okay. Okay, we're talking about food. I don't even know where we're at right now. Okay,
about?
this category right.
I mean, she had my man on the boards pondering back to last night. He goes on to say, Logan,
Stilo
thank
Brim.
me one
Yo,
day.
pause it,
You
pause
got
it,
a lot
pause
of
it.
people saying, what's the over-under on this engagement?
Yeah.
Actually,
There's no one as red pill as Stilo Brim. Let me tell you, he's never espoused any red pill beliefs or structures, but this is a man who knew he was getting lined up by a girl for a charge and jumped out of a moving vehicle to make sure he wasn't falsely accused. That's a fact.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yes, dead serious. Stilo Brim jumped out the car like, bitch, what? You trying to line me up? Jumped out the moving car.
Yo, Matt Cat says Logan Paul is about to marry the hoiest of hoes, and actually, it's funny. He actually put that in the chat before we even started this video.
Yeah.
This girl is hot. Run through though. Remember when the Paul brothers used to make trampoline videos?
Yes.
I guess. I mean, someone needs to knock them all out. RM says, I have no idea, but she's probably just posed at parties with most of these guys. Obviously. But here's what it is. You don't understand the mentality of men. So the first thing I have to say, if you do not understand what it's like to be a man, one of the things to be a man is you're perpetually angry and you're perpetually ready to destroy. And the second thing you are is perpetually jealous. Particularly when you have a beautiful girlfriend. So Arm's
Not
like,
me, I read.
logically, they're probably all posing. Obviously, that's nothing. But when a man jokes around and is like, you're going to pose all these pictures with these guys, she probably sucked their dick. The man instinct is like, I'll kill you and her. You have
here's
to
the problem.
overcome that and become a better man for that. But I
Here's the
love that he's
problem,
playing off of that. This is really great.
Here's the problem, right? That is true what you said, man. The male response to these type of topics, man. Some of these pictures are circumstantial at best, right?
Right.
But other of the pictures, these are in fact people that she was dating.
Well, I'm sure. But even if it wasn't, it's just a mere fact. Here's
Now the
what I'm
question
saying.
becomes, as you're fucking with the male psyche, which ones was she dating? And which ones just happened to be
Right,
the
and
full party?
to be honest, the pictures are better when they're not associated with dating, because dating is kind of like, it is part of the social contract where you're being like, you're following the rules of whatever. But here you're like, here's a picture of her with a dude on the boat. What did they do on that boat? And that'll piss a man off. He'll be like,
Well, bro,
that
you and
fucking
I
whore.
We both went to go see that movie, It Follows. We know what they do on the boat.
We know what they do on the boat. Yes,
We know
absolutely. I
what
was talking about this the other day. We know what they do on the boat. That's why men have boats, so they can fuck hoes.
I bought this boat for one reason. You are that reason tonight.
but what it is that women don't understand the jealousy of men. So they're like, I don't understand. Is this pictures with her with men? Yeah, that drives a dude crazy because
Wait,
if you even suggest the idea that she may have sucked his dick.
Wait, so we're going to talk about this tomorrow night on Pillow Talk. We're going to be talking about girl code because there are some women who would be honest about this and they're like, huh, she was on the boat with 4 guys told you that they were all her friends from high school? No, she's fucking all 4 of them.
I have. I'm starting to be such a cynic, but I have learned that when a girl's like, my best friend from high school, who's a dude, fuck that. End that. Oh, he's my gay best friend. Fuck that. Fuck that. Literally, I had. Sorry to get super personal. I dated a girl who at one point she said, this dude is my gay best friend. And I was like, cool. It's all good. And one day she just casually commented that she had a threesome with him and his lover years ago. And it's true, it's years ago, but she's like, has fucked this dude. And I know he's gay. It's all good. However, that doesn't make me feel comfortable.
It's not all good. It's not all good.
It's not fucking
once
all good.
you see my girl's old face, you're out of the realm of all good.
There's a circle of trust, and here's you outside of the circle.
Because you were in the circle of trust before when you demolished it. Continue.
RM says Mantis is basically a Sith Lord. I'm not a Sith Lord. I just keep it real, you know? Or AJ says, I don't know. They got where they are just based off of the antics from before.
Yeah.
Hats off to Stilo.
Stilo. Yeah, Stilo jumped out the car when the bitch tried to line him up. She was like, my man jumped out of a
how do you
moving car.
avoid damage from that?
By not going to prison. He's like, career ruined, no more ridiculousness money. Stilo Brim jumped out the car.
I'm saying, I've been in a car with my mother acting like a nut job, and I was like, I'm out. And I opened the door, and I was about to jump out. I was like, we're going 40. It's not as easy as the movie showing you guys.
Bro, we're talking about Stilo Brim, right? I don't know what else he has going on besides that show, Ridiculousness, right? So he's like, fuck this shit. I'm like,
Yo, if you're on Wilding Out or Ridiculousness or whatever, or a show similar named, you are basically a minimum wage employee, and you haven't really gone far in life. When someone's like, well, I'm on Wilding Out, I'm like, you mean you're a C-level celebrity who just got out of rehab? Thank you.
McKinnon beats me. Roll the shit. Roll it. It gets worse, bro. This is gonna get worse. Before it gets better.
Going through. Next, he says KSI and Logan's Prime Company started after their boxing match. And just like them, after our match, Logan and I are looking to launch a prenup app. Here he posts yet another picture of her. I believe that's with the guy from The Fault in Our Stars. It does seem like from the outside looking in, over the course of the last decade or so, this woman is always with whatever celebrity is popping at that time. Like,
does anybody know what she does? Is she an actor? What does she do?
She's a hoe is what she
is. Is she an actor? A model. Oh, okay. She's a model.
Logan, who the f even is this guy? And why does he look so comfortable holding her like that?
Yeah.
If my girl has a picture with
Oh,
an
he's
old
touching
man
the
like
lower
this,
back.
it's
Yo,
over.
the lower
I mean,
back.
this is just getting crazy at this point, guys. Here he says he's working overtime. Okay, he's got...
This thing is hilarious. Yo, okay. I'm not gonna lie. After that one clip, there was chat. What was that one clip? I think it was with Jake Paul and like a
Here's what I'm
hotel
saying.
lobby or some shit like
Yo,
that.
It's one thing to have like normal motherfuckers to be in the pictures with your girl, but what happens when they start being fucking lowlives? It's like
Andy
some
Warhol
penniless
and
lowlife is the dude who was fucking your girl before you had her. How do you feel about that?
Apparently, if you're Logan Paul, you continue on with the boxing match.
Yeah. Yo, I would pull a Trump, and I would hire her ex-boyfriends to fucking all hang out in the front row. Oh, which is what he did with his debate with Hillary.
With Bill, he had Bill Clinton.
He had Clinton's Bill
Accusers.
Clinton's
Not even his exes, his fucking accusers.
Yes, his accusers in the row to fuck with her, which is totally fucked up. You know, I don't condone that. However, in this situation, yeah, let's do it. I really hate Logan Paul.
He kind of seemed a little unlikable, but like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. He is selling his fight, but I'm gonna watch the Logan fight regardless. But now I just care a lot about what happens. I don't know how to explain it. Having 3 phones is insane.
Got the 3
Niggas like, whoa,
right there. I mean, at this point, I have to think that this man has people out there scouting these pictures, looking through various Getty images. And for Logan Paul, the hits just keep coming. I mean, Logan, who even is this guy? He went on the Nelk podcast and had some choice words for Logan.
I just think that Logan has
Ether.
And now seeing how he's taking this personal stuff, like his.
You guarantee a win? I'll bet you $1 million I beat Dildo Dennis on October 14th. And he bet Connor.
His mind is not there.
What have you heard from them on their end?
His own has put a little bit of a trap on me, but there's definitely trouble in Paris.
Logan Paul allegedly sent a legal notice to Dylan demanding he stop posting photos of his fiance. Whoops.
Well, if they're in Getty images or whatever, it's all fair use. So fuck you, asshole.
Like LGBTQ and everything. So I was gonna be like, oh, it's awesome. He like has a fiance that's trans. So I thought she was, and then I looked it up, and it was a girl. And then I started seeing all the stuff. So I was like, oh shit.
She's gorgeous though.
This guy.
This fucking idiot.
He didn't even realize he canceled himself.
Is so. And so once again, people were like, "Wait, I don't understand. She's gorgeous. She can."
Oh my god. That is his words, not mine, YouTube.
Do you feel bad for her? Do you think it's like
So
like,
basically, people don't understand the intricacies of masculinity. So this dude's like, well, she's gorgeous, and then they're like, well, they're trans, and so they don't understand the subtlety of what is being implied at that point. And so the guy with the backwards hat is an idiot. And so I'm not going to go any further, but of course, obviously there's levels of masculinity and what is what. And like, you know, even if she is a gorgeous model, the idea that she might be trans, this is going to be offensive to people, but this will emasculate the boyfriend or the lover, right?
Bro, what Dylan Danish has successfully done here is hit at the age-old weakest point of a man, his woman, and the importance of his woman, right? So you can go to many various different places and say her business, her sexual life, that's her business, all that stuff. Bottom line is, Dylan Danish made it the internet's business, and in doing so, found so many clips like her on fucking ridiculousness talking about her gag reflex. That's brutal, bro. That's brutal internet.
That's marriage
level
material
quality.
right there.
Yeah. Continue. It gets worse, Mantis.
Oh,
Believe
God,
it or
it
not,
gets
it
worse.
gets worse.
Well,
how do you think it's affecting her?
Jake did this to me. I don't know if you remember when me and him were gonna fight. When he was saying that he was going at my girl, he was saying he heard this whole thing. So like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, you can't talk all that shit and not be able to take it. That's the worst kind of person.
And nigga, Jake is not Logan. Well, why do you just talk about people like they're the same? Nigga, Jake is not Logan. Didn't do that to you. Jake did that to you. What the nigga? Use some shit Jake did to justify. No, nigga, just say you want to be an asshole and you think it's hilarious, and everyone's gonna be like, "Ah, that's good enough." But don't cap, nigga.
I actually think this guy so far is doing a great job of actually selling this fight, because before he started going on this tirade, I really had no idea who he was. I mean, you would hear his name in passing every once in a while, but I promise you all of this is making much more people care about this fight. Like Logan, it now becomes different than just defending your own boxing
that's the
prowess.
biggest boxing bag
Now
I've seen in
this
my
is about
life.
defending your girl, defending your fiance, defending your future wife. Like, if you're Logan, how do you even respond to all of this?
I don't know how you
Knowing
respond.
him, he's probably just having a mental breakdown right now. I mean, we all saw how he responded when his ego was damaged by CoffeeZilla at the beginning of the year.
Bro, actually, like, no, be honest. What do you do if you're Logan right now? What's the appropriate response? He tried suing the nigga allegedly. What do you even stay silent, nigga? You're supposed to be promoting a fight. You're gonna have to talk shit back, niggas. This is not one way. You're gonna fight this guy contractually. You signed that.
beat his ass, the fight would immediately be forfeited. He would look like an emotional lame ass nigga, and on top of that, he'd probably get sued and lose, and it might be criminal charges. So you can't beat his ass, right? You can't beat his ass. What do?
You beat his ass
Bro,
in
this
the
nigga
ring.
is in a rock in a hard place. I think this situation is different if people thought it was fucked up.
All right,
but because
We
people think
don't
it's
have to go much
funny
further
what's
in
happening,
this. In fact, if
Logan
you
actually
watch
doesn't have
MMA
any options.
If you watch MMA Guru's coverage on this video, and shout out to the guy who made the original video. What happened over the period of 3 to 4 days is Dylan Danish completely ethered Logan Paul. And Logan Paul is still going on with the fight. They actually had the pre-fight press conference. 17 people over in Rumble. Shit! That's like Spoon royalty right there.
Logan.
Yeah, Logan Paul got bodied on the internet. He took an L. You take your L. So the next step is he has to go in there and beat Dylan Danish. Right? Like, he has to. So let's talk about the Logan Paul, Jake Paul experience in regards to exhibition boxing matches. Jake Paul is the better boxer. Without a shadow of a doubt. He spends more time in the gym. He's really committed to the craft of boxing. Whether you like him or not, that's the fact. The guy is committed to it. He beats up on a lot of older guys, smaller guys, and MMA guys who don't understand boxing.
Yes,
overall.
I can't help but notice that the Paul brothers call people forward who are either not great boxers or are over the hill
or under the weight class. So Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather and still looked like a simp. He thinks that he won 3 rounds of that fight. Bro, no real boxing aficionado gave him 3 rounds over Floyd Mayweather. You and I covered this shit live on Spoon, and I was like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Right.
There was literally a point where Floyd hurt him and didn't finish him off. Right? And that has nothing
which
to
is
do
why I
with
believe
tribalism
contractually Floyd Mayweather was not allowed to finish him off. That's what I was like. That's suspicious. I was like, he must have signed a contract being like, my payday is that I don't finish this motherfucker off.
He had him hurt. Jake Paul I will give Jake Paul the benefit of the doubt, man. All respect. I think that he really is committed. I think he really wants to be seen as a real boxer, pugilist, right?
Old school shit. The pugilist.
Old school shit. But Logan Paul is a simp and a cocksucker. He treats his own brother with contempt. So fuck him. Fuck that bitch. Like, I don't give a fuck about any of
So
that
here's
shit.
my follow-up. I agree with everything that my man Steve just said. I will say, if you are trying to win a fight, you need to eat red meat. You need to be insultive. And when you are in the clinch, you talk shit. Even if it is racial or religious or bigoted, you say mean things to piss people off. And that is what is going to get you a victory.
100%. What do you got for us? You got one. You had one topic for us tonight, man. What's going on? What's going on?
I don't know. Today
It's 2 hours and 18 minutes, bro. It's up to you, man. You gotta be the worst.
Pinky Doll. We've got Xbox's new social credit system. Keanu Reeves getting body shamed, or YouTube eliminating external links. Oh, you're super fed up with this shit.
Unbelievable. Yo, the fact that you can't post, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? Like, the fact that I can't post external links. Like,
yeah, you can't.
My entire YouTube game is based on the fact that I can post links on Twitter, X, or on Discord. It is all contingent upon that. You know what's happening here, man, is we're finally, I think, seeing the bubble of COVID. I said it, the vid. And the retention that we all experience, all of us, even on Spoon, experience from people being locked in their houses. Now you're excluding me from being able to promote everything else here on this platform. It's BS, man. It's absolute BS. And this is my issue with Facebook, right? But I'll say one thing about Facebook, bro. Facebook Lives had very few restrictions in regards to external promotion.
Right.
Period. Point blank.
It is disgusting what they have us doing right now. But honestly, I think we have had an amazing episode of the Fanboy Modeling School.
Amazing episode. Amazing episode. My son.
So, are you ready to box Logan Paul?
Yes, that's one fight I take. Like they say, it's $1 million if you survive and $2 million if you knock him out. I'm going for the $2 million.
Yeah,
like,
no, I think you're gonna do it. Even though you're not a striker, though.
I am a striker. Wait, why do you keep saying this to me? Why do you keep saying this to me?
So you, as a young man, you were a striker, but then you learned jits, and then you were like, "Well, striking's for bitches."
No,
like, what are you talking about? You're the king of striking.
I never said that. I never said
you had this attitude against striking. I was
no,
like,
I had an attitude against guys who were better strikers than me. I'm like, well, now I know I can just take you to the ground.
Okay.
And then pummel you on the ground.
I clearly
For me,
misunderstood what you said. But for a while there, I thought
jiu-jitsu and wrestling is the best way for me to improve the position, right? Like
Right.
if you're a better striker than me, I'm going to take you to the ground and I'm going to punch you while you're on the ground. I'm not looking for any chokes in a street fight. No arm bars, no triangles. I'm going to get you to the ground, mount you, and punch you. So if that makes you feel better.
that makes me feel real better. Yo, where can the people find you, brother?
So Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Spin 95, home to Throwback Hip Hop. Throwback Spin with your boy Steve. That's me. I'll be there. And Wednesday nights with the Pink Princess herself, Pillow Talk, with Bex on Green Room. Not Green Room, I'm sorry. Clubhouse.
Yeah. We were talking about Green Room all night, so I figured.
You're Mantis is like, it's his last week of work until Black Friday. He's literally counting down the days.
Basically, I'm on vacation mode, which means you can't find me anywhere, and I'm just dicking around. Fuck you all. I kid, of course. Weekdays, 4 to 8, just like my man here, we have competing time slots. I'm on Hot 95 over on Autolus, but you can also find Hot 95 over on Streama, radio.com, online radio box, my tuner. I've forgotten all the other ones, but however, we're there. You check us out, and the man's just keeping it very real, man.
www.autolus.com. More radio, less commercials.
Less commercials, less bitches. Wait, I don't mean bitches as women. I mean, bitch ass people like Logan Paul.
Right.
Anyway, it is time to end this thing. We love you all. I've had such a good time. Keep it fucking real. And ciao for now, my bitches. Peace.